These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. You know what's really terrifying? That unfinished college degree lurking in the background, just sitting there waiting for you. That's where Southern New Hampshire University comes in. With flexible online degree programs, there's no commuting, no rigid schedule, and no more excuses. Plus, they have some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to learn more before your degree becomes just another story about what could have been. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Hey, weirdos. I'm Alaina.
I'm Ash.
I'm Aliza.
And this is a very special Morbid. Heyo, we have Aliza Kelly on the podcast again.
Yay!
We're so excited for you to be here.
So excited to be here with you both.
It is always a treat when you're here. We always have so much fun. It is always so fascinating.
We have pizza.
I was just going to say, we're having a pizza party.
We have pizza. We have buffalo dip somewhere that we didn't even take out yet. Yeah, we're going to
revisit that after.
Okay.
You guys might remember Aliza was on the show. We did Stars Over Salem, and Aliza gave us all of the insights on everybody's charts that was involved in that whole hysteria. We went deep into it. Go revisit that episode because it's fascinating. We were just like jaws on the floor the whole time.
We just re-listened to some of that, and I was like, damn, that was a good episode.
It was so fun. And today, we're going to be doing Stars Over Whitechapel.
Which is Alaina's magnum opus.
Yeah, this is, I've been waiting.
Yes.
Yep.
And as I was saying before we started here, I think that this might be the thing that solves it.
I think
it's
so
like,
too.
It's not working from all the other systems,
no,
right?
It's not.
Been over
astrology.
It's like 140 years,
yeah,
almost, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because a lot of people think that they've figured this out. A lot of people think that this has been solved.
Insert Alaina's rant.
Yeah.
I was going to say. And the thing is, if you didn't listen to our episode with Tobias Forge,
Our very first one.
Yeah. No, our second one.
Sorry.
Our most recent one where we talked about Skeletor. I go on a pretty sizable rant about why they did not figure out who Jack the Ripper is with this quote-unquote DNA. So what we're going to do right now is Mikey's going to insert that clip of me explaining why the DNA is not solving this case. It is not solved. It is not Aaron Kosminski. I don't believe it, at least. So here's the rant, just to remind you guys. So here's the thing. I don't think they have found Jack the Ripper. Not one part of me thinks it, in fact. There's many reasons for that. The fact that this has been a thing that comes around every few years is a big red flag to me, and it's the same person bringing it around every few years and not really updating any of the actual info. That shawl that they're claiming they have this DNA from is a shawl that they're claiming was found at Catherine Eddowes' crime scene. One, they have no way of knowing that. The only way of knowing that would be if it was among the exhaustive list of her items that were found at on and around her at the crime scene that is well documented, and it is nowhere. There is nowhere that says there is like an 8-foot long, really expensive shawl that might actually even be a table runner found on her person. Nowhere. So if we don't have that, then how do we know that this thing is hers, and how do we know that it was found at the crime scene? Here's your answer. We don't. So there's a big, giant hole of doubt that has already been thrust through this entire thing. I don't think it was found at the crime scene. I think she would have sold it at one point. I don't think she would have held on to that kind of shawl. I mean, there's all kinds of stories of her selling, shoes earlier in the day and selling anything that was on her. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't buy that one at all. Furthermore, the story of this whole thing is that Sergeant Amos Simpson was the one who is said to have taken this shawl from the crime scene, a supposed blood-soaked shawl he took from the crime scene. One, that would have been an immense risk to do that. And two, I think we all need to remember what I said 1,000 times during our Jack the Ripper series. We can't really comprehend how dark these crime scenes were. There was no light. We're going by candlelight. You're telling me that this man plucked a blood-soaked shawl from a crime scene and just brought it home for his wife? I don't buy that. Also, there's the fact that Amos Simpson was a metro cop. He was a metropolitan police officer. Mitre Square, where Catherine Eddowes was found, that is London PD jurisdiction. He has no business being there, and even if he is there, he has no business at that crime scene. So that gives me pause. The DNA. The DNA, we don't even know what it is. It might be blood. It might be semen. They have no definitive answer for that. So that 100% match, I don't believe. They don't even know what the actual DNA source is for this. And also, there is no evidence of him leaving semen at scenes. Of course he can depart from his pattern. Of course that's happened before. I am fully willing to admit that, and I'm willing to accept that if there's other pieces of evidence along with it. But the fact that he never did this and there was never evidence of any classic sexual assault or rape at any of these scenes, it was really violence and mutilation. It doesn't really fit with the pattern. And once again, I'm willing to admit that a pattern can be broken if you give me other evidence to tell me that that's so. I just don't see it here. The DNA itself, it's mitochondrial DNA. That's what they're not telling you in any of these things. This is not straight up DNA. This is mitochondrial DNA. It can eliminate a suspect, but it cannot identify a suspect absolute. Anyone in the maternal line of this DNA match can also be the person. Can be thousands of people. Thousands of people in London can match this DNA. So that's not good enough for me. That's not identifying. That is, you can eliminate. And also, just to put a pin on this, the researcher who has put this forward is Russell Edwards. He doesn't have a track record that I'm willing to follow here, really. I will, of course, give benefit of the doubt if he can provide more evidence. But he also claimed once, and so did his team, that they found a victim of Ian Brady and Myra Henley that has been missing for decades and decades, Keith Bennett. And his family has been looking for his body on those moors forever and hoping to find his body on those moors. And it was really fucked up that his team basically announced on social media that they had found Keith Bennett and they hadn't. So that upsets me. That makes me question it. Of course, one massive monumental mistake doesn't mean that you can never do anything good in your life. So if he can provide more evidence that says this is a 100% DNA match, which I don't believe he can, then I'm willing to listen to it. But no, Aaron Kosminski is not Jack the Ripper.
Mic drop!
So that's why.
In conclusion,
Wait, I need the copy and paste
We'll play
file
this
of that.
for you.
I need
We'll
to
play
also
it.
just like insert the rant
after
in
this, we'll play
various
it.
other audio moments.
We'll play it for you after this because I was pretty hyped up during that. So I was like, let me explain why.
Rightfully so. It makes sense. Everything you said makes sense.
Yeah, because I think it's recently like surfaced again, and I'm pretty sure like Australia heard about it recently. Like this random news station in Australia reported that it's been solved. And so it's gone around TikTok all over the place. I'm getting tagged in it, which I appreciate so much that you guys tag me in anything Jack the Ripper related. Keep doing that. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
But I figured I should probably let you know that because everyone's like, what do you think about it? I'm like, let me tell you what I think about it.
Well, this is very interesting because it's reminding me of one of the astrology phenomenons that comes up periodically, which is that there's always, every so often with some sort of cadence, there's some big expose on, oh my God, astrology is wrong.
Yep.
The signs have moved.
Oh,
they are
yeah,
not where they were
Yup.
1,500 years ago. Like all of these silly astrologers haven't considered the precession of the equinox, and every time I get tagged, and there was a big one in the New York Times that came out, and people are like, well, what do you think of this? And I'm like, it's the same piece they published 3 years ago.
They just keep revisiting this.
They do, and they keep not talking to any astrologers, and they keep sort of like regurgitating it, and then the headlines are always breaking news.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yes,
maddening.
Yes. And it's like, and you get why that like the headline would be grabbing. Like it's just like, wow, we figured like
It's clickbait.
we've broken this wide open, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So when I first saw the headlines that were like DNA has solved Jack the Ripper case, I was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I read it and I said, oh
said,
wait.
"Get the
and then
fuck
I
out of
looked
here."
up who did it and I said, oh wait. And then
This guy again?
Yeah, this guy. I've seen his name
Literally.
before. So just so you guys know, I don't think it's been solved. I think we can solve it.
Maybe
Tonight.
here today.
I think we're
was
going to
just gonna
solve it
say.
tonight.
Yes.
Personally.
Yes.
So stay tuned for this. 'Cause it's happening.
And the next clickbait is Jack the Ripper solved through astrology,
Solved by astrology.
which is real.
Hell yeah. We just combined the two.
So eat your hat, New York Times.
A new article that can go everywhere. Just combining the two bullshit articles. I like it. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this. Everybody who listens to Morbid knows how obsessed I am with the Jack the Ripper case, and that I think I officially became a Ripperologist during our research of it. I think actually one of our listeners, and I don't know if I've mentioned this, sent me a pin that says Ripperologist.
And it's on one of your jackets.
And it's on my favorite leather jacket that I wear all the time. So thank you for that if you sent it.
Also actually multiple people made you the certificate, right?
And emailed them, yes. I need to print them out and put them up.
Just
on the
put them
wall.
everywhere.
Like Harvard, doctorates and everything. I'll just put
Yes.
them like,
Well, next to your letter.
yeah.
Next-
the from
from
hell
hell.
letter.
Yes.
See?
Perfect.
We got to display it all.
Save a little
Yes.
spot.
Yeah, I love it. That'll give me some motivation.
There you go.
But yeah, so we love this case is just fascinating. It's and I'll say it again, it's the number one unsolved case.
it is.
Case
Yeah.
in the world. I mean, it really is. And with there's so many canonical victims for this one. It's so brutal. The infighting between the police departments, it's got everything in this
Yeah,
case.
you have it all.
Yeah.
You
You
really
have it all.
do.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll do is we're going to start going through the 5 canonical victims: Marianne Polly Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelley, which is the crescendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely Mary Jane Kelley is considered the last canonical victim. And a lot of people will say like they think that it kept going. I don't think it kept going.
No, I think we
I
talked
think
about
she
that on
is-
our original
Where
coverage.
can you go
Where
from
do you
there?
go from
Where do you
there?
go from there?
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's it.
It makes sense that it would end there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though, depending on who you might have think was Jack the Ripper,
That could change.
yes.
Okay.
Right?
See, I'm already excited. I'm already excited for this.
Maybe you just change your approach.
Ooh.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Maybe you switch it up.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a
You've had
lot.
enough of that kind of brutality. Now you go into more of a
like a
psychological.
nuanced-
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
okay. Try something new.
Try
Dip your
something
toe in a
new.
different pond.
See, maybe this is it. Maybe astrology is going to solve this.
I mean,
'Cause it's a
astrology-
different
It's worth a
angle.
shot.
Yeah.
It's a different angle.
It's a different angle.
I don't see it come from this angle a lot.
I
So
don't know if it
true.
has, to be
I mean,
honest.
if we're gonna pretend mitochondrial DNA is solving this, then why not
Let's give
astrology?
astrology a shot.
Is more definitive for identifying things than mitochondrial DNA is. So.
I think
go.
so.
There you go.
All right, so who are we going to start with?
So let's start with Mary Ann Nichols, Polly Nichols.
Our first canonical victim.
So I should note, and this is similar to what we had also acknowledged with Salem, is that we don't have a lot of times.
Right.
Here.
Yeah.
And in astrology, the best way to calculate a birth chart is date, time, and location. So we are missing that very critical time piece, which is going to tell us rising sign. It's going to show us which houses all of these different planets fall in. The houses show us sort of the themes of life. They also can help us understand timing. So we're missing that piece. So in the majority of the birth charts that we're going to pull, unless we had a very specific hour for something, we're going to look at the planets and the relationships that the planets are making. We're not going to be able to discern the rising sign from these.
that makes sense. Yeah.
So Mary Ann Nichols was born August 26, 1845 in London, England. She is. I always say is with a chart because the chart is still living.
I just listened to the episode where you went over that, and I was like, I love that concept.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Like it goes on.
And another really interesting thing is that, and we'll probably see this in some of in some of these characters today, is that when somebody comes back into the zeitgeist or the collective psyche, their chart is being activated.
Right.
So we'll often see that, like, even albums that are released after an artist's death or something, you'll look and you'll be like, oh, they're having their third or fourth Saturn return at that time.
That's so cool.
Like their
cool,
chart
yeah.
is still being activated
Yeah.
and still experiencing the passage of time and energy to it.
That's so wild.
That's
That's so
really
like
cool.
existential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really beautiful also.
love it.
It is really beautiful.
It's a really cool way of exploring legacy. And a lot of these, Mary Ann Nichols, Polly Nichols, as the first person who was murdered in the canonical 5, the first victim of this, there are so many interesting things that I say this thing called tank, which means there are no coincidences.
I like that.
And
I love that.
this is a case of tank.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she is a Virgo sun and a Gemini moon. So these are two mercurial ruled placements. Both Virgo and Gemini report to the planet Mercury, which is communication, it's language, it's storytelling, it's our understanding of things. So, not knowing all of her chart without that time of birth, what we can sort of discern here is that she was smart. She was interested in things. She was curious. She was somebody who also was very discerning. She had this sort of extrovert, introvert, in and out kind of quality to her, where she could be sort of like very blabbermouthy, say the wrong thing at the very wrong time, but then also could pull it back and be like, wait, but I have to get my life together. I got to get organized. So there was this sort of like back and forth quality. And it was all very much about her communication and being understood. Now, the reason that this is incredibly fascinating is because, number one, she's not the only person who is a Virgo sun, Gemini moon here.
Interesting. Wow.
And the other piece of this is that she was murdered when the sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Gemini.
Shut up.
Whoa.
Oh, that's weird.
Yes.
What are the odds? There are no coincidences.
There are no
It's like, what are
coincidences.
the odds of that?
So she truly establishes this story, not just in her birth chart and who she is, but also in the chart of her death. And the chart of her death is also the chart of the first murder. It's the chart that establishes the Jack the Ripper story.
Wow.
So these
Yeah.
two, like, it's almost like, and this is obviously a little out there for some people, but it's almost like we don't have Jack the Ripper if we didn't have Polly Nichols.
Yeah.
And it's
That makes
almost
sense.
like perhaps there was something about her. And their encounter in particular that set off this killing spree that this person went on.
Right.
Because how else could it be that this person, I mean, she was murdered just a few days before her or after her birthday. She was murdered on August 31st, 1888. She was born August 26th, just a few days after her 43rd birthday. While she was having her solar return, her birthday, and her lunar return. The moon was in her sign.
Wow.
So very, very interesting to sort of establish and set the scene with this person in this context on this night.
That's really interesting.
That is fascinating.
Like, again, just the odds of that
Yes.
don't compute.
Yeah.
Like, that's astronomical.
Something you said too, like when you first started talking about her, that she's a Gemini moon and then a Virgo sun.
Yep.
And you were saying like other people in this case are that, and how it's like, I really have to get my life together and like that kind of thing. Something we talked about when we originally covered the Jack the Ripper case was that so many of these women were at a point in their lives where they were really trying to get their lives together.
Yes.
And they were like just about to get there. So it is interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah.
And that it's a key theme now in the astrology too, like in their charts.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we see astrology, so like what I love so much about this is that we have her chart and then we have her death chart, but that death chart is also a beginning chart. Her death chart is the beginning of the Jack the Ripper murders, right? So it is the end, and it's like this passageway, this portal, this threshold happening, an ending and a beginning. And it's almost like the qualities that she had, especially in that essence of like kind of stumbling and then picking herself back up and then stumbling and picking herself back up, almost is the story of perhaps even the murderer himself, right? Like maybe there is some mirroring that happens
there's some
here.
reflection.
There's some
happening
reflection here because if that was her story, she got murdered under a sky that was very similar to the sky she was born under, that it's almost like the perfect storm of this person sort of being like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like we're
is
doing
what's
it.
happening.
This is what's happening.
Wow.
It gives me like chills.
I know.
That
really
really so
does.
eerie.
It's so eerie.
Yeah.
And it describes Polly as a person, that whole like picking yourself up, falling, like her whole life, because we went into it a little on our episode. Her whole life was like trying to pick herself back up 100 different times and like something knocking her back down. And it was from like when she was younger. Too.
Yeah, it was just her
like a
story.
child. It was just her story.
Yeah. Yeah. Another interesting thing is that she was born with Saturn in Aquarius. And on the night of her murder and during this time, throughout the murders actually, Saturn is in Leo. So Aquarius and Leo are opposite signs. So when she was murdered, she was going through her Saturn opposition. And so this is sort of like the flip side of your Saturn return.
Okay.
This is Saturn represents responsibilities and rules. It's this very sort of like tough daddy energy. So when you go through,
the
Grim
Grim
Reaper?
planet.
it is your planet. Yes, it is. And when you go through your Saturn return, there's this sort of reckoning of the rules, right? Like growing up and maturing and becoming who you're supposed to be. Your Saturn opposition is kind of when you're also facing similar circumstances, right? You're sort of like looking at your life and looking at your choices. Not to say this should have been how she had to reconcile it by any means. But, 140 years after these tragedies occurred, we can also sort of think of the fact that we're talking about these people in a destiny, fated, legacied, storied way, which is certainly not the case for so many people who lost their lives in Whitechapel at this time, right?
Yeah.
These people were really important for us continuing to tell their stories as archetypes and as symbols of what it was like to live in these conditions at this time and be so sort of like beat down by all of the forces that working against you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you go into this time period, in Whitechapel in particular,
It was awful.
that's why there were times when we were covering this and Ash was like, oh my God, I got to step out of this
It was
for
just
a little
so
while.
dark,
It was
you
so
know?
dismal and so dreary and gloomy. And there was just like, it felt like there was no end in sight to just like the dreariness of it. You know what I mean? Like everyone was struggling.
just droll.
Everything was dirty and just like dark, and
Everybody was trying to make their way, but like there was no way out.
Yeah,
people are
it's
drinking
hell.
their problems
It is
away.
hell.
And
It's hell.
Yeah, it literally is hell. And it feels like he swept in here and just became a
Kind of basked in
personification of
that.
it, essentially.
Right. Yeah. And also, you know, in this really weird way, we can talk about that now, you know, from the luxury of these lovely couches,
Right.
but also recall what it was like to be in those conditions where if there wasn't Polly Nichols getting murdered under the same sun and moon that she was born under, then we wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't be talking about what it was like to live in that time.
No, we wouldn't even probably wouldn't even know what it felt like to live in Whitechapel at that time or know any of that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No.
So it really is interesting.
So it's a really interesting start.
It is.
I also want to call out another signature that we're going to see throughout all of this, which is really profound. And I have goosebumps looking at this, and I hope that I can convey this to you when I share it, which is that during this time, 1888, from 1888 until the early 1890s, we had a very rare astrological occurrence happening, which is that we had a conjunction between Neptune and Pluto. So just as a, you know, just to sort of, we have not had this since, and we will not have it again until almost the year 2400.
Wow.
Until the 2390s.
Holy shit.
So this doesn't happen in most people's lifetimes.
This is significant.
Truly, yeah.
This is a very unique thing to happen and to encounter. If this was happening in our lifetime, astrologers would not even know what to do with themselves.
Wow.
It's so wild. Because Neptune has a cycle, an orbit of 165 years. Pluto has an orbit of 248 years. So for them to link up takes a really, really long time because they are these are the two furthest celestial bodies we track in astrology.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Neptune represents illusion, delusion, fantasy. It's mystery.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
mist, quite literally. It's things dissolving. It's things disappearing. And Pluto is the underworld. It is death.
Yeah.
It is big, deep transformation. And Neptune, this misty, elusive, mysterious, eerie, sort of like enchanted supernatural energy, combined with Pluto's own darkness and heaviness and supernatural. Like, this is Whitechapel.
Yeah, I was
it
just
literally
gonna
set
say.
the tone.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
All
actually,
of it.
this is like mind-boggling.
Especially when you go into like the mystery and the like, even just mist.
Mist. I was just going to say even just a
mystery.
All
mist.
you think of.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you think of Whitechapel, you
just think of a
this
haze.
misty, hazy,
Yes.
like
And dark.
Yep.
like full of death and full of pain and full of like
And then
struggling and
mystery. It's like,
And then
we're
Mystery.
still
this is
here
the
talking
enduring
about
mystery.
it.
And
Yeah.
that's the enduring, that is
Like,
the
damn.
legacy of it, right?
And then Pluto, which is death.
death.
Yes.
Like,
Mystery, haze, death.
yeah.
Yes.
Like holy shit.
That's actually
crazy.
insane.
It's insane.
That's wild.
And so, like, we really need to just point out how insane it is that we'll never experience that. We never have, and like most people won't. That's crazy to me that it's not going to happen again for that
It's
long.
not going to happen again, you know, for many, many, many versions of our grandchildren.
Like,
right?
it's such a specific circumstance. And this
Yes.
case has that energy.
that one of a kind
yeah.
thing to it, because it's like we've seen so many awful cases since then, obviously, but this one is stuck in everyone's mind as like the most fascinating one, the most enduring one, the most brutal one, the one that everybody just like upset, like it becomes everybody's hyperfixation. And
Yes.
it's like, but there's many more that are also brutal cases. Why
Yeah.
is this the one?
You know
And
what
it's
it
like,
is? I feel like part of this being the one is that it feels like lore. It feels like
Yeah.
legend.
It does.
And I
It
feel like
doesn't even
that's like
feel
the
real.
Neptune role
Yes,
of it all.
the Neptune. And
The
there's also
mystical, like,
something,
yes.
yeah, there's something paranormal
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
Which
is
that was
very
honestly
Pluto.
like one of the things, that was one of the theories people had was this a vampire? Was this a ghost? Was this somebody supernatural? Even Mikey
Mikey's flipping
thinks
his
it's a
hair.
vampire. He
Mikey
said,
thinks
I
vamp.
do. But it was one of those things people talked about. He has to be a ghost. How can he get in there and get out
and out,
there
yeah.
so quickly? Like, how is he never seen by anybody? Like, it has a paranormal aspect to it.
It absolutely
Truly.
does. Yeah.
Another thing that's interesting about this is that Neptune represents the camera. It represents the lens. And one of the things in my research around this that I kept having to be jump scared by at 2:00 in the morning are the photos.
Oh,
Yeah.
of these people.
The photos, the autopsy photos,
Yeah.
the crime scene photo of Mary Jane Kelley.
Yeah.
I saw those in high school for the
Oh,
first
yeah.
time, and those will remain in your brain forever once you see them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is Neptune,
Yep.
the camera lens, and then Pluto, the death,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
legacy, and that sort of
Combining
joining forces.
again.
And I think that is one of the reasons also that this case is so enduring.
Yeah.
Is that we have just enough technology and
Yes.
documentation to be able to not just say like, and it was brutal, but be like,
Look
and
how
look, even
brutal.
by our like overexposed video game standards,
Right.
this is fucked up.
Yeah,
Right.
like when you describe the Mary Jane Kelley crime scene, your mind can't even conjure
No, not at all.
what that photo is going to show you. Because that photo, you're like, that's a person in that bed?
Yeah.
Like and you describe it, you know that he disfigured her to the point of not even knowing that that's a person on the bed. And you can describe it as much as you want, but that picture will haunt you for the rest of your life if you look at it.
Yeah.
And
there's-
like you said, it's just enough technology that we got those photos.
I was just going to say, like, they're some of the first crime scene photos
Yeah.
we have.
Yes.
like,
Exactly.
in existence.
Yes, exactly. So this was occurring in the sign of Gemini, which is also very interesting.
You're back.
That happened with the Salem witch trials, too.
Well, and I think that we might have talked about way back then a year ago how Uranus is moving into Gemini. We're even closer to that now than we were then. But I think what's interesting about that is, you know, we talk about charts being living and breathing entities. And we have this Neptune-Pluto conjunction in early degrees of Gemini, which is where Uranus is going. Uranus is often considered the planet. Uranus is innovation, breakthroughs, discoveries, shocking things. It's also often considered the planet of astrology. So I think we are going to solve it through astrology.
We're going to do it.
Boom.
That
it
is
here
my
first.
thesis.
Yes. I'm
But-
for this.
But even for those who push back and say, "But what about the DNA? What about the science?"
It's
honey,
wrong. Where is
honey,
it? Go back to the
some
rant.
things- some things we need the ancient texts for.
yes, and we don't have the
techniques.
right DNA here.
Yeah.
No, we
everybody.
don't.
We don't have that.
It's only
we gotta
excluding,
move.
babe.
We got to move to the adjacent thing
Yes,
here.
yes, we got
Yeah.
to keep pivoting. Got to keep pivoting.
And hey, if maybe we can use the astrology to confirm the mitochondrial DNA because that's all it's
There you
used
go.
for.
There you go.
It's not
That's
used
true.
to identify. I say it again. But maybe
Dare I
this is what
say.
it is, or maybe it's gonna confirm what I say that's not,
Which
that
is
Aaron
nay.
Kosminski is not the killer.
There's a few more things that I want to just mention because this chart is, again, the birth chart of these murders, right? So this is maybe the most important chart that we have in all of
definitely
them, right?
Wild.
Her death chart, our beginning of a story chart. So Jupiter was in Scorpio during this time. It was in its final degrees of Scorpio. At this time of her death, it was at 28 degrees. Mars, the planet that is often considered the most violent planet, is also in Scorpio.
Mars is like war.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't that
Destruction.
represent?
Yeah. There's like also a knife is one of the images associated with Mars.
Oh,
like it
wow.
is truly, it's like a blade, a weapon is one of its associations.
Okay.
Mars and Jupiter conjunct, both in Scorpio. Mars at 22 degrees, Jupiter at 28 degrees. Also, just to sort of like contextualize Jupiter and Scorpio, Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It enhances wherever it is. And Scorpio is associated with the sort of like our own shadow,
Oh, okay.
our own darkness.
Yeah.
Ah.
So my working theory, right, is that there's something around Polly Nichols that triggers this impulse
Okay.
in our murderer, right?
Okay.
And that is triggered by Jupiter in Scorpio,
Scorpio.
conjunct Mars in Scorpio.
It's
with,
this like rage energy.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we're
she was
gonna
a
see-
real, like, she stood her ground. Like,
Yeah.
like, Polly Nichols was, like, not taking shit.
Right.
Yes.
So maybe that was one of the things that
Well,
Set him
also
off potentially.
something that every single victim has in common is that they all had their throats slashed, right? They all couldn't talk.
Yeah, they
Silence.
took away
And
the
one
voice
of the
right away.
things that is defining about her as a Virgo sun, Gemini moon, is her communication.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say, yeah.
And that is also embedded in this chart as a sun in Virgo and a Gemini moon. And then also with that Neptune, Pluto, Gemini signature. So something that I then proceeded to do for the rest of these, especially for our suspects, is to look to see where is that conjunction activating their chart.
Okay.
Because to me, like, that's a really interesting piece of information.
Definitely.
It's a consistent thing.
Exactly.
That was it. And it's something that a lot of people talked about because nobody heard a lot during this. And it's, this was in the middle of the night. You're going to hear someone scream, like it's pretty quiet out there. No one would hear a lot of things. And it's because he would immediately slash the throat. He would immediately silence them from behind or whatever he would do. So it's like that really was his first priority. Silence them.
And that silencing, to me, especially if we think of this triggering him somehow, her triggering him, this energy triggering him, is like maybe that's a clue.
Yeah.
Right? Is something about like speech and
he
vocalization.
doesn't want to hear it.
Doesn't want to hear it.
Doesn't want to
hear it.
Right.
Doesn't want to, and maybe he was silenced, right? Like maybe there is some sort of like a deep psychological trigger that has driven him to this point of insanity of like, no one's talking.
Yeah, I don't want to hear you talk.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. That could easily be like, and we could go right back to like the trope of the overbearing, mother.
It was literally
like
right in my head.
Maybe he had a mother who,
never stopped.
That's interesting because there are some suspects with big mother
issues.
Big mommy issues.
Big mommy energy.
And
you think about, these are like sex motivated crimes. It's like sex workers. And
I wouldn't be
that
surprised
tying back
if he
to
had
the
like
Oedipus of it all.
Exactly. I feel like he could have like an Ed Gein type mom figure that was kind of
overbearing,
possibly over religious, possibly overbearing about like sexuality,
shamed him about it.
Something shaming.
Like it feels like that's part of it, or was constantly talking about women such as our canonical five who happened to be sex workers. I guarantee you he heard in part of his life horrible things about these kind of women.
Yeah.
And so he felt some kind of rage against them.
Yep.
Right. And then being like the little bitch he is.
Exactly.
Goes to like the people who are the most helpless.
Yes.
Right.
And decides to do it. Or, I mean, maybe his mom was a Whitechapel
That's kind of what I was thinking.
And he was getting revenge, you know?
Because that also just really lends itself to the theory that he did have a medical background, because this is somebody that maybe came from a situation that wasn't so great.
Yeah.
Like his mom was struggling to
Wanted
get
to
by.
get out
maybe
of
they
there.
didn't have a good relationship. He got out of there and these women reminded him.
Yeah, and he wanted to strike back.
Yeah, and he hated that. So that's where it came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
There's all of this, like, I think I spend so much time with this chart because I'm like, this is it, right? Like, if we're going to find something, it's going to be here, right here, in how it started, in its origin story.
And you found a lot.
The villain origin story.
Yeah,
literally.
Is this chart.
Yeah.
This I'll give this to you to add to your collection of things to
Oh my
frame
God, so
after.
Alaina's like, I'll frame it.
Yeah, no, it is the villain origin story
It's
chart.
fascinating.
It really is.
So then we have victim number 2.
We have Annie Chapman.
Annie
Dark
Chapman.
Annie.
And this was about a month later. Or no, this was not a month later. This is another case of a birthday corresponding.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah, they're quick succession.
I remember when we were talking about it originally, I was like, oh my God, it's always right around their birthdays that they get killed.
Yeah, because this was right in September.
So Annie Chapman was born September 25th. And she was killed September 8th.
Yeah.
So this was another situation of, this was right after a birthday. This was about to celebrate a birthday. I mean, I don't know who's like actually having like a
celebration.
Yeah, celebration. Like who's doing pin the tail on the donkey here. But I am. I love a birthday.
Yeah. But again, killed under a Virgo sun.
So she is a Libra sun with a Virgo moon. And she was killed under the exact flip of it.
Okay.
She was killed under a Virgo sun with a Libra moon.
Right.
So this is another one of those like very tank, eerie sort of mirroring things that is happening.
Like complete opposite.
What are the odds?
Yeah. So Annie, a different energy, a different kind of a character astrologically, a different birth chart profile. I mean, similarities. They're born
For sure.
In the same types of conditions. They're 5 years apart. But with her Libra sun and her Virgo moon, we're seeing someone who is diplomatic. We're seeing someone who is very actively sort of like trying to, harmonize, make things good, make things better for herself. She has a Virgo moon, and every Virgo moon I have ever met is so hard on themselves.
Yeah.
Every Virgo moon I have ever met is very, and could be very self-deprecating. And when I was reading about sort of her circumstances and what was leading up to this night, September 8th, when she's murdered, it seems like it was just like one of those, like, she's just like can't get a break. She just can't catch a break.
No,
right?
Which is
And
such a theme.
such a theme. And this feeling of just like, in her case, I think that she was a little bit more, there was a little more giving up in her situation.
I think so. She had kind of become her nickname. Her nickname was Dark Annie. And it was because she drank a lot and she got like pretty gnarly when she drank. And I think she tried to get away from that. And then it sounds like she just kind of leaned into it a little bit.
She had lost a lot by the end of her life.
And she was very like skilled in a lot of ways. Like she crocheted, I believe. She like did a lot of like that kind of stuff. And she was able to like sell that stuff for a little while. And she tried to lean back on that, but it just wouldn't work out for her. Something would happen that would knock her off, you know, the right path or that path. And then she would just end up back here. So I feel like it happened so many times that it does feel like she started just leaning into the Dark Annie kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. It, you know, these sort of signatures in her chart, to me, it's sort of, it's sad because I get the sense that she really wanted to live a different and better life.
She really did.
And she was like, we have some other characters who kind of are just like, no, this is my vibe. This is my story.
Like living in it.
Honestly, even Polly more, right?
Yeah.
Polly is more just like,
Like here we are.
Yeah,
like,
here we
fine.
are. Like, you love me, hate me.
It's Whitechapel.
It's white. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Here
What are you going to do?
It's Whitechapel
Real Housewife
1888.
reveal.
I love that.
But with this person, I think that like she was really sort of at the end of her rope.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And she was, interestingly, at the time of her death, going through her Jupiter return. She has Jupiter in Scorpio in her chart. That only happens every 12 years. For our lovely listeners, don't think that when you have your Jupiter return, you're going to end up being slain by
Don't think that.
an unsolved
this,
Jack the
like,
Ripper. But in her case, you know, again, I'm thinking of it of like, why these people, why are these our archetypes? Why are these the people who are telling the story? Why are these the people that we're still telling their stories all of this time later? And for her, like for all of them, there's a legacy piece in this. And I think part of this legacy piece was for her just like, this is the end of the line.
Yeah.
She reached the end of the line of many, many decades of tragedy and suffering.
Yeah. And trying to better it.
Yeah.
Her Jupiter return being in Scorpio, I feel like is so significant because that's a pretty dark placement for Jupiter, right?
It can be.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly is, you know, something to, as a reference point for our Jupiter and Scorpio is that we had Jupiter and Scorpio most recently during the Me Too era. So it was sort of during this big reveal of all of the abuses and power dynamics and the way that people were abusing the hierarchy and the systems and taking advantage of women was when the last time that we culturally experienced Jupiter and Scorpio. So there is a deep correlation to sex and sexuality, to shame, to darkness, to things that we don't talk about. I mean, like Harvey Weinstein is, to me, like, and that big exposure around him, is Jupiter and Scorpio. He is the essence of Jupiter and Scorpio to me. You know?
So that feels so significant.
That really does.
When she died, you know?
Absolutely.
And her death was an intensified version of what we had experienced with Polly, right? She had her throat cut. She had her abdomen opened.
Her uterus removed.
Intestines placed over her shoulder. The removal, what do you think about the removal of the organs? And why couldn't they find them?
That's the thing. Because
do you think he took them? Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's got trophies.
Yeah, he had them because that From Hell letter, it's hotly contested of whether that's real or not. But it did come with a piece
kidney.
of a human kidney. And it was tested and it was a human kidney.
So who knows? It could have been hers.
So I think he's got them. And I think he was probably planning on doing more of that kind of shit with it. But I think he just ran out of time, or he decided it
Just
wasn't
get on the clock.
He said, like, I can't keep doing this, or he just thought it was a little too close of a call.
That's what I was kind of
Like he had
thinking.
gone a step too far, and he was risking what
He almost
was trying to
BTK'd
hide.
it.
Exactly.
Before
He didn't want to
BTK did
BTK it. He didn't want to
Right.
just like give the disc and be like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, you can't trace me with this, right?
I think he kept him. I think he kept him as trophies. Interesting that the intestines were thrown over her shoulder. I always found that really interesting.
that does
Feels intentional.
yeah.
You don't just whip intestines over someone's shoulder. It's not easy to do. Like you unwrap it. Like intestines aren't just like willy-nilly in you. You got to like take them out and do that.
Kind of unravel
Like
them.
that's not by chance.
Was she one of the, I remember one of the particular victims really carried like every article of clothing that they had. Was she one of those?
A lot of them did. I know Catherine Eddowes was one of those that had a lot of
It
pieces
almost
of
feels
clothing.
like, here, throw this over your shoulder too while you're at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense. I think, I think I mean, all of them had many layers of clothing
because it's also freezing.
because it was like, and they just carried everything on them at all
Yeah.
times, kind of thing. And they would like, collect things as they went.
Well, and they
just so
didn't have a
could-
permanent place to stay,
Yeah,
so
and
they
they
just
could
had
sell
to.
stuff too. Like if you have a lot of layers, you can sell a layer and get some money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it always seemed to me there was a message there for
Yeah.
sure. It was almost like it was definitely taunting.
Well, I think that's when, for me, I started to have that trigger of like the Black Dahlia is the display,
Yeah.
right?
It's very theatrical.
Which also happened during Jupiter and Scorpio.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I just got a full WOM moment.
That's
Crazy.
Again, what the coincidence?
Not only that, but Saturn was in Leo for both of them too. So Saturn and
Interesting.
Jupiter, which are both considered like the head honchos of astrology, it's like the two daddies. I say Jupiter is casino daddy.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, it's like
It
you go in,
expands.
yeah, expands. You go into Vegas with him.
Yeah, lucky.
He's like dripping in gold.
I love that.
Ladies on either arm, and then Saturn is the casino owner. In a suit,
okay.
walking around,
A little more
tapping people
quiet.
out,
Making sure you're not fucking up.
dealing with the mafia,
Yeah.
with whoever it is,
Teaching a
that's-
lesson.
exactly,
Yeah.
killing people in
Follow
the
the
back,
rules.
right? Like,
Yeah.
So you have sort of the external and the internal parts of this system.
I love thinking about it like that.
Yeah.
That's actually really helpful too, learning astrology.
It really is.
I like that.
Yeah.
But both of these were in the same placements. And what are the odds of that? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
what are
that's
the odds of
significant.
that?
There must be a mathematician out there who can quickly
Yeah.
generate that for us, but
Please
it's
do.
very unlikely. It's very
Yeah.
rare, right?
That's crazy.
It only happens a few times a century.
It feels significant.
Yeah.
It does.
And
for sure.
they're square. That's the aspect they're making. So Jupiter and Scorpio, as we said, it's like, there's the shame piece, the exposing, the darkness. Saturn and Leo is the performative, theatrical, sort of look at me energy.
Wants
And
to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, to me, at this point, we know that Jack the Ripper wants attention.
Oh yeah. He
That this
definitely
is
does.
not something that he's doing and trying to conceal.
Right.
He's concealing his identity, certainly, but he doesn't want people to catch him in the act.
No.
He has some goals of these encounters.
Yeah, he wants to hear about it after.
Yes.
He
Yes,
doesn't
but
want
he's
to
not,
be-
he's not
recognition.
hiding bodies.
Yeah, no.
He's
And he's-
intestines on display.
Yeah,
And
Take
he's
a
getting
look.
more and
making
more
it-
on display as these
Exactly.
women are killed.
And he's getting bolder and bolder
Yes.
as he goes too.
yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This part of the show is brought to you by Anua, the Korean skincare brand known for scientific, gentle, yet effective formulations. The latest from Anua is the Retinol Collagen Gua Sha Cream, a firming cream with a gua sha-shaped tip built right in. Have you guys heard of gua sha? It's that viral massage tool that moves fluid and tension out of your face. Less puffiness, a snatched jawline, honey, more definition in your face. Retinol firms and reduces fine lines, and collagen keeps your skin plump and structured. This cream has both of those things, arguably the most optimal combo for that snatched, lifted look all in one step. I am obsessed with the Gua Sha cream. First of all, it feels so cool to the touch. When you put that on your face, it's just like, this is lovely. It's like a little spa treatment that you can give yourself. I like to do mine at night after I get out of the shower. I rub the cream on my face with the little gua sha. I'm sculpting that jawline, honey. I got it on the cheekbones. And actually, I had a facial the other day, and the lady doing my facial, the professional, she said, "Do you use a gua sha at home?" And I said, "I do." And I said, "How did you know that?" And she said, "I didn't have those little like bumps in my chin or like different areas like that." So she could tell that I was using the gua sha. And I said, "Oh my God." I just feel like I wake up less puffy in the morning when I do it the night before. But you can do it whenever you want to. I, 10 out of 10, recommend this product. The Anua Gua Sha Cream Value Set is available at anua.com, already discounted. Use code MORBID for an extra 10% off. That's ANUA.com, code MORBID.
This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply.
Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70.
So this is an interesting one because this is also the last one that we have with Jupiter in Scorpio. Jupiter is about to switch signs. And I think that that's my working theory for why things really get wild.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So next we have Elizabeth Stride, Long Liz.
Long Liz.
Long Liz. They don't know why.
Yeah.
They don't.
She's just Long Liz.
Long Liz.
She was tall. Maybe.
They also said that she had a long face. Maybe. Just something
just
something
right.
long.
The nicknames were wild back then. They were.
They're all like bullies.
They were like
very
roasts.
mean.
Yeah, they were roasts for sure.
I don't want to know what my nickname would have been
don't
back
tell
then.
me.
No. Yeah, I don't want an 1888 Whitechapel nickname. I'm sure there's a generator out there somewhere. We don't want it.
Wait, there's not now. There is.
We need that generator.
We do.
That's so funny. So Elizabeth was a Sagittarius sun, an Aquarius moon, and she had a bunch of planets in Aquarius. Actually,
she had fun.
She was born she was a Swedish woman. Mm-hmm. She had Mars in Aquarius. She had Neptune in Aquarius. The moon was in Aquarius. Jupiter was in Aquarius. She had the sun in Sagittarius. She was a talker. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was philosophical. Mm-hmm. She was sort of, she was unconventional. She was weird. Mm-hmm. She was someone who did things differently.
Right.
So it makes sense that she's one of those that I feel like is in this situation, but is also kind of like, where else would I be?
Let's go, girls.
Yeah.
Why not?
Here I have found myself in Whitechapel. It is a long way from Kansas,
right.
but like, I'm doing the
sense.
thing here.
Because she originally, in Sweden, I believe, she was the one who registered as a sex worker in Sweden so she could do it legally.
Oh, shit.
And she would have to like check in and get checked and stuff. So she did it Like,
And
this is the
that's-
job I'm doing.
That feels very Aquarius energy.
Yes.
Like, I can do this, and like people should be able to do
I'll make it
this.
official.
Get
Like,
concerned
why
with
not?
like the world at
Yeah,
large.
so it does seem like she's just kind of like, yeah, this is what I do.
I'm owning it.
Yeah, put
Yes.
me on the list. Like, I'm going to do this legally.
And what I also, going back to that, to the sort of like the communication and the talking and then the silencing thing, like here's another example of another female archetype who has like a very ballsy chart.
Yeah, a
you know,
bold nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who stands up for herself and knows how to defend herself and knows how
Yeah.
to protect herself. Like, sure, she is certainly a victim, not just of this murder, but like of the world and
Yeah.
society and the
Yeah.
circumstances. But she also was tough.
Yeah, in fact, on the night she died, one of the witnesses heard, like, one of the witnesses who saw her walking with a man or saw her talking with a man, heard this other person say to her, "You would say anything but your prayers," and she laughed.
I
like, yes.
love
so
that.
So that's
funny.
literally her.
That is
Like, she's
so
just
funny.
reflected.
I mean, not
Yeah.
to mention she has my mom's birthday.
Oh.
So November 27th,
Okay.
1843. My mom's not from 1843.
like, damn.
You're like exact date.
Exact
Like,
date,
she's a time
exact date,
traveler.
time
It's
and
crazy.
location. Yeah. No, but my mom is a November 27th Sag, so I know the energy.
Okay.
I know the vibe.
Know that energy.
It is. My grandma used to say that when my mom was a little girl, she would like follow her from room to room talking, like go into the bathroom talking.
I love
my mom she goes to the basement, like anywhere my grandma was going, my mom was
chatting.
following, talking.
Like, let me tell you a story.
Yes.
See, so
And
that
now-
really fits her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You would say anything but your prayers.
Yeah.
And he's just like, damn, you're just talking about anything and everything.
Yeah.
And she was also, when she was found, she had a flower. She had flowers in her hand.
Yep.
She had coins in her hand.
Yeah, she had a lot of things
Yeah.
on her.
But she was like in the process. She was like doing things.
Yeah.
She was like talking, chatting, doing things, busy.
Oh, yeah.
She was not just like wandering down the streets.
Nope.
You know?
She was in the mix.
She was in the mix.
For sure.
And it wasn't even, for Whitechapel, it wasn't even that late.
No, 1 a.m. I think it was she was found.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's just popping
Yeah,
off.
that's
Whitechapel.
nothing.
That's the
Yeah,
beginning
she's
of the
just
night.
Yeah, the happy
There's
hour.
the
pregame.
Yeah.
That's when she was found. So this was way before.
Yeah.
So in this case, she had her throat cut, but no additional mutilation happened.
I think it was interrupted. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Well, and then you think about the timing. It's like maybe somebody was coming around the
Little
corner.
earlier in the
You know,
night, yeah.
it's too early for him to be out doing this.
And he did it in kind of an open space.
Right.
I 100% think that this was interrupted
Yeah.
because of what happens with the next one.
Yep.
He had a vision.
He did.
And I think he had a story that he wanted to tell with this.
Oh, yeah.
And this to me feels sort of like oh shit. You know, like
Yep.
never I got it. This didn't work out.
This wasn't what I wanted.
This isn't the vision I had.
No.
I
Right.
have to keep moving.
That's why I think he had a double event next.
Yes.
Because I think he was
Wanted
making
to
up
get
for
it done.
Yeah.
Yes. And this chart is interesting because it's, as I mentioned, it's the first one where Jupiter switches into Sagittarius.
Okay.
Now, Jupiter is in its domicile in Sagittarius, which means that's where Jupiter loves to be the most. Our most recent reference of Jupiter in Sagittarius is when COVID started spreading.
Oh, shit.
I think my Jupiter is
Oh,
in
that.
Sagittarius.
We'll discuss.
Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, can't wait to get to that.
It's this sort of like it's bigger, it's enhancing, it's amplifying, it's taking that energy. And on this day, on September 30th, Jupiter was making an exact opposition to Neptune, which is locked in with Pluto. It's that Neptune-Pluto signature, which is in all
shit.
of these
Yeah,
charts.
right.
You know, that's a very long-lasting signature because those planets move so slowly.
Yeah.
So all of these charts, all of these death charts have that.
Okay.
And Jupiter, which is the magnifying energy, was magnifying that signature of mystery, of murder, of sort of the intensity and the volume. Like it literally was turning up the volume on this. And I think that, and again, we're back to volume, we're back to speech, we're back to
Right.
sort of vocalization. I think that Elizabeth Stride was very much sort of, I mean, they're all very wrong place, wrong time. But
Yeah.
this is one where it's like, maybe we didn't have to have two that night.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
exactly.
I think there could have just been one.
Yep.
But we have a casualty of a casualty.
Yeah, like a missed opportunity in his eyes.
Yes. So yeah, that's our scene with this death chart, which is the same death chart, because we don't have the exact time, to the second or to the fourth victim.
Okay.
Which is Catherine Eddowes.
Eddowes, our girl who is getting talked about a lot recently.
Yeah, supposedly she had a shawl.
Supposedly that's her shawl. It wasn't.
We don't think so.
Well, guess who has a Gemini moon? Catherine Eddowes.
Okay.
Yeah, so she is part of this signature. She's part of this story that we're telling with the Neptune and the Pluto and Gemini.
Because Polly had one too, right?
Yes, and that was the death chart. The first chart has a Gemini moon. So Catherine also is an Aries. She was born on April 14th, 1842, and she was born under a Pluto-Sun conjunction. So when she was born, Pluto was in Aries, her sun was in Aries, and we talked about Pluto being death, right? We talked about Pluto being this like mysterious underworld, intense force. But when I see something like that in a chart, I think that this is a legacy that lives on. To have your sun connected with a force like Pluto, of course you're going to be remembered for how you die.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it's life and death all in one house.
Yes. And Aries is a fire sign. We have another firecracker here. We have another feisty woman.
Not going to put up with your shit, not going to be silenced
She
unless
is
you do
not.
it immediately.
She also has a temper.
Yeah, she does. And the dude, I think the guy that she was with at the time, or like hanging around with, literally told her that night, like, be careful, don't become another victim of the Whitechapel slasher or whatever they were calling him at that point. And she was like, oh, I'm not worried about that. Literally said, like, fuck that. Not worried about it. Like, she was just like, nope, don't care.
Freaks me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, because when someone says something like that, you don't want it to be prophetic.
No.
Like,
Yeah, you
that's-
don't want that to live on.
Yeah,
That's the worst
Thing.
prophecy you could give.
You definitely don't.
But yeah, this is another strong, fiery individual who is doing her thing, not taking any shit, knows how to defend herself, knows how to take care of herself, definitely would know how to stand up for herself. Right?
Yeah.
And
That's a trigger for him, for sure.
100%.
Because the fact that all of we're on the fourth victim and they all have this in common so far,
Yes.
it's absolutely a trigger for him.
Yep.
Yes. And then this, is so interesting to me because this is the case where we have her story living on, right? The shawl comes from this.
Yep.
The kidney
Yep.
in what the next sort of incident that we'll talk about comes from this chronologically. Then also, this is where there's graffiti on the wall that I think is incredibly compelling. And one of our characters, the captain, Sir Charles Warren.
We're talking about Warren.
Sir Charles
Sir
Warren,
Charles
the
Warren.
head
That's
of the
commissioner.
London Metropolitan Police, has it scrubbed before any crime scene photos are taken.
Interesting.
So I don't have that text here, but we could also pull it up. But it's anti-Semitic, surprise.
Yep. Yep.
Surprise. Spoiler alert.
Crazy.
But to me, the reason that all of these pieces are so interesting with this person, with this death case, with this death chart, is the legacy bit of it. This is when, to me, our Jack the Ripper is being like, notice me,
Yeah.
pay attention to me,
Oh, yeah.
throat cut, abdomen mutilated, left kidney removed, parts of the uterus removed, our first instance of facial mutilation.
Right.
And this is someone who's not taking any shit.
No.
This is also someone who in their chart has that Sun-Pluto conjunction of, I'm going to be remembered for how I die.
Yeah.
And I am going to tell a story that exists long after I am gone.
You know what's even weirder is she got arrested that night. And when they asked her to write her name down, she wrote nothing.
Spooky.
Isn't that weird?
That's
For
give
like
me
somebody
chills.
who's going to be remembered for how they die, they wrote nothing as their name.
And just you're so close to not being nothing, but to being being
removed from existence.
Yeah.
That, like
I
physically.
hate that.
Isn't
so
that
much.
weird?
Yeah, my arms are fully chilling so badly.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But she's something.
She
something.
is.
And we're still talking about
Yeah.
her. And so much evidence comes from this particular murder.
Right. Mm-hmm. Not the shawl.
The alleged shawl
the
comes
alleged
from this
shawl.
murder.
But this one's also really intricate too, like how he removed things. Like he took her kidney and he removed it from the renal capsule, which is like a very thin lining to take, and he did it like very delicately. And again, this is one of those things where she was killed in a place that was darker than dark. Like her particular place that she was killed, I think, was it Mitre Square, I believe, or something.
Yeah.
So she was right out in the open.
She was in an alleyway, and it was like dark, dark. And she had just passed a police officer. She said something like "Good evening, old cock" or something to him. Like she said something like sassy to him.
That's my girl. That's my Aries sun, Gemini moon girl.
And she's just waltzing past the police officer, and then he does it in an alleyway in the pitch blackness, faster than you can imagine. And he's being so delicate to slice through a renal capsule to remove a kidney. Like
you have
you're
to
telling
know.
me he
You
doesn't
have to know about the body.
You'd have to know that was
know
there. You'd
anatomy.
have to know you need to be delicate with that.
You have to.
Yeah.
And I think she had her uterus moved too. Like there was so many things here that he did so fast.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it was a partial removal. So it's like, did he not have time to finish it?
Yeah, I mean, he was doing a lot.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the facial mutilation, you know, also we have images of it.
Yeah.
Also horrifying.
Yes. Oh, it's
also jump
horrific.
scares for me in my research.
Yeah.
It's hardcore.
It is.
It is really intense. And you wonder too with that one, because again, he's like escalating, and because the other ones didn't have the extensive facial mutilation, it's like we go here, and then to go from here, we obviously have somebody in between, but to go to marry Kelley, it's like he was on that path.
He was on that path.
Of just making them not a person anymore.
Right.
And I think that was like the message here, was he was slowly making them not a person.
Well, and maybe that's really where the intestines thrown over the shoulder comes in with the second woman who was killed. It's like that's where he started. Like, you're not a person. It's almost like animalistic.
Yeah, because he makes it almost like
that.
like you said, like he's making it almost like a part of her clothing.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
something straight, like let's just flip him over her shoulder, because that's not something human.
And then it just continues to escalate.
Yeah, that's why I think there is some personal vendetta and connection to sex workers.
Yeah, because it's a humiliation ritual.
Because this is making them slowly but surely not recognizable as human beings, because that's how he saw them. But he just did it slowly as he went.
Yes.
Which is so fucked up.
Yes. And so what do you think about the graffiti that was here?
That
Do you think
always
it was
confounded
unrelated?
me. I feel like it was unrelated.
I remember talking about that, and
Yeah.
that was our consensus, was
I
that it
think
wasn't
was
related.
unrelated. And I think that's also part of why Charles Warren got rid of it or ordered it to be washed off, because I think he knew as well that it was unrelated, but that it would be connected.
Because it's also like, would he really have had the time to do everything he did to mutilate her, and then again in the pitch black, write that on the wall?
Yeah. My initial instinct was that it was unrelated. But then the letter comes right after. So if we think of the letter, if we do say that was an authentic communication, which I think it is.
I feel like it
The From
probably
Hell
is.
letter?
Yeah. I think the From Hell letter is my favorite part of this whole story.
so
It's
I'm
fascinating.
obsessed with the
Yeah.
From Hell letter. I mean, it's so spooky girl coded
It
to
is.
have a letter from
Absolutely
hell.
it is.
It's terrifying.
It's so terrifying. But the reason that I sort of paused on it because it's anti-Semitic. It's like what business? Like, why are we throwing this, subplot into the
Right.
story?
Like, what does
right?
this have to do with this?
Exactly. But then to have the letter right after, to me, there is this piece of communication that's happening. And then going back to the astrology, that communication signature, right?
Yeah.
That these women aren't talking, but I have something to say. And I want to be heard. I want to be seen, not for you to find out who I am.
Yeah.
Or maybe he did.
Yeah, who
I mean,
knows?
he really starts to get pretty
Bold.
dicey, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Here.
then he reaches out to the media. It's like that.
Yes.
He
I
is
also wonder
testing the
too
waters.
if that graffiti was there and he saw it and that sparked an idea.
That became the
Like
place.
that was like, oh,
Let's do it here.
Because then the communication started. So it's like he almost saw that and was like, wait, I can communicate.
use
That's
that.
interesting.
Like I can communicate not just through this and what I'm doing.
I
Because
see.
obviously what I'm doing, I'm communicating in some way, but people aren't getting it. Like
They're
one's
not getting it.
No
They're
one's
not seeing
getting
the
it.
writing on the
so
wall.
maybe and he literally is like, I'm seeing the writing on the wall. Maybe I should send a letter. Maybe I should communicate with words.
Right,
'Cause
right.
This is here,
Yeah, and maybe also because obviously he was paying attention to how the investigation was going.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So he
It wasn't
also
really
saw
going.
that that was scrubbed off. So he's also thinking, oh, words matter.
Yeah, they have meaning.
They have
They're going to take
meaning.
them seriously.
Yeah, this is something that I can incorporate into this storytelling.
Yeah.
Because he's telling some sicko story here in this.
Right.
And that's what he wants to convey.
Right.
So yeah, this one is really a notable one because of how much evidence, both real and alleged evidence, and then also missing evidence is coming out of it. And then the next thing that I have is the From Hell letter.
Yep.
So that's October 16th, 1888. And this is sent to George Lusk.
Yeah, because he was Lusk. That's what it was.
I tragically don't have a birthday for him other than that he was born in 1839 was the year he was born. So he is a builder and a decorator. Could you imagine that existing in Whitechapel?
Honestly.
And like he's a designer.
How is business?
Decorating in the mist.
What's going on?
Okay.
All right, girl.
He's got a dreary vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Edward Gorey-esque.
Yeah.
The chairman but he becomes the chairman of the Whitechapel Vigilance Committee.
Mm-hmm.
So he is like, you know what? I got to take matters into my own hands.
Neighborhood watch. Let's
Neighborhood
go.
watch.
Love.
Yeah.
We love a neighborhood watch.
We love it.
And he receives this letter, this package, a parcel,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
Truly
October
a parcel.
16th, 1888. That has the most iconic, haunting letter ever. Mm-hmm. And also a kidney.
And also a kidney.
Fantastic.
Little piece of a kidney.
Fantastic.
That right there. I'm like, I don't see how you can't think that's authentic. Like,
Yeah.
Well, they also tested the kidney and
it
were
was
able to
human.
determine it was human and it was female.
Yeah.
And it was likely from the left side, which is...
Catherine Eddowes' kidney was on the left.
Which is
of that.
crazy that they could do that back then. Like,
I know.
Let's take a second for that.
I know. I'm like, keep going.
Right.
Like,
Take a
do
second
more,
with
more of that.
You could find this man.
Yeah. You're doing great work.
You're doing
Keep
amazing, sweetie.
investigating. Let's go. Right. Yeah.
So this letter is everything to me because it also, we don't have again the exact time, but it arrived in the afternoon. So we were able to kind of play with the time a little bit between 3 and 6 p.m. So with that in mind, it's very possible that signature, that Neptune-Pluto signature in Gemini could have been like distinctly at one of the big angles of this, right? I have it a little bit after 4 p.m. and that puts it at the point is called the IC, which is the base of your chart, which I literally refer to as your villain origin story.
Oh, damn.
And that also would mean that the moon in Pisces is right on the ascendant. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, so it's creating mystery, right? It's continuing this dreamy puzzle pieces, and it's also adding to the drama. Something that I always think about and that I think often gets overlooked with Pisces and Neptunian placements is that they have this sort of like glamour and mystique to them. There was an aestheticism to it. There was a lot of intentionality about the presentation, the parcel, the kidney being in a spirit.
And the fact that he was saying he tried to eat some of it.
Yep.
So he was upping that like, I'm nasty.
Grotesque
Like he was
factor.
like, oh, also I'm a cannibal.
Yeah,
Just
right.
in case you were,
Like,
freaked
and unless you
out.
didn't think that I was twisted.
Or you scared? I'm
Yeah.
also a cannibal. So it's like he's upping it.
Yes. Yeah. So this chart also puts Mars right at the midheaven. Mars again being violence, war, knives,
all that good
aggro things. So this From Hell letter is truly from hell.
Yeah.
It is truly,
It truly is.
truly from the bowels of hell.
Mars is also like determination, right? So
Yeah.
he's determined to make a name for himself when he sends this letter.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Again, with the addition
Like,
of like,
recognize me.
oh, in addition with the Hannibal-esque, like I ate it, with a fine Chianti.
Right.
Yes.
Like that's the vibe. Like he's getting theatrical.
Yeah.
He's upping his ante. He's trying the aesthetic of it all.
Right.
He's like, I'm now a cannibal. Just like he's laying that out as like it's.
He's like, oh, and I ate it.
Also, I
had a
fried it
both
up
side.
and ate it.
Yeah, I
Like,
fried it up. It
yeah.
was delicious.
It was delicious. Here's the rest.
Yeah,
Like,
for you.
Damn, for you.
Try
you
it.
Why do you think that he sent it to this like citizen, this vigilante citizen.
I think because the police commissioner just wasn't getting it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like the whole reason that the vigilante came to be, is because the police commissioner wasn't really getting it. So he needed to start figuring this out. And I think whoever Jack the Ripper is recognized that and was like, oh, well, this guy's going to spread the good word.
Yeah.
That I'm a cannibal, that I had this kidney, that I'm this like deviant man.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so too.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me, you know, the timing of it too. It's 2 weeks after the last murder, and then we still have a ways to go. You know, it's kind of the halfway point between the two most gruesome and final murders.
Yeah.
So what was going on? What was he doing? He was writing letters. He was eating kidney. He was doing something with these organs.
Yeah.
I think.
Experiments, maybe.
You wonder what because I also wonder, I'm like, Elizabeth Stride was supposed to be Catherine Eddowes.
Yes.
Like, that's clear.
Yes.
So it's like, did he always have 5 in mind? Was there always this, you know, extra?
Or was it 4?
Or was it always supposed to be 4? Is there some significance to 4 instead of 5? Since I don't think he had intentionally went for 5. I think
And
he
maybe
got
that's why
fucked up.
5 went so off the fucking rails.
That's why, like, I think maybe he initially wanted 4. And because also that makes kind of the most sense with the way he escalates if you take Elizabeth Stride out of it.
right.
It kind
Because she's
of,
a weird pause.
because she's a
almost.
pause.
She was an
because
interruption.
There was an
It was-
interruption.
it
He didn't
was-
get to go.
It was a mistake. It was
Right.
it was
Yeah.
a whoopsies.
Right.
Like the intestines over the shoulder, like that's escalation. And then
absolutely
you
it
go to
is.
Catherine Eddowes and it's way more escalation. There's the facial mutilation. There's the removal of more organs. There's lacerations everywhere. I believe her, I think her genitals were like severely lacerated. He went like really frenzied in that one. And then he goes about 100 steps higher with Mary Jane Kelley.
Yeah.
And it's like, I do wonder if it was supposed to be 4. And that they were looking at the significance of the 5 and everything, but there was always a significance of 4, maybe.
I wonder if he also, and like, you know, if we were to talk about, don't let me talk about ghosts because I always end up siding with the ghost. Now, Jack the Ripper is not a ghost.
He's not a ghost.
So I'm not siding with him, but I also am wondering if maybe he really wanted to get caught before the final one. Mm-hmm. And he was really also being tortured mentally.
Yeah.
Because there's enough of a pause and there's enough of an outreach where he could also be just like losing his damn mind. I mean, clearly this is like a very unwell person.
Disturbed individual.
Well, and there are so many suspects that did end up going into asylums at the time that everything abruptly stopped. So I think you could be onto something there.
valid.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's a cry for help. And he's like, I'm a cannibal too.
Yeah, like,
I'm really, really
I'm really bad,
I
guys.
really need help.
Like, I'm eating these organs.
Yeah.
Like, someone get...
Come find me. Yeah.
It's like, I think there was like, we did a case of like the lipstick.
The lipstick killer, yeah.
And he literally wrote on the wall, like, for the love
Please
of
stop
God,
me.
please find me or I won't stop. And it kind of feels similar in a way.
Yeah.
It's like you could go either way with it, where like he really went to lengths to not be caught, but then also that pause and then the frenzy at the end. You're like, what did happen?
Well, I feel like there is like such a dichotomous nature to whoever this is.
Absolutely.
If it's like, I want to get caught.
You mean
no, I don't.
Gemini? Gemini signature?
You mean
Yes.
that?
I want to get caught. No, I don't.
Like,
The indecisiveness.
is he a Gemini?
Probably. So many killers are.
They are.
We'll see.
You know, but so many rappers are too. So
So there's
good
that.
things
So
about
many
us.
There you
podcast
go.
hosts are.
Exactly. I love a Gemini.
Who doesn't love a Gemini?
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's you know, it also then makes me think that it's another point for that he could have done the graffiti though. Of like maybe if I'm anti-Semitic, they'll pay attention.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll make myself the worst person I can possibly be.
An
If
anti-Semitic cannibal killer.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
But then I also, on like the flip side of it, I do think he views these women as like subterranean.
Yeah.
I don't think he views them as people that it's like,
As people,
that
period.
he's like, look, I'm a bad guy. I think he's like, I'm not a bad guy. Like, I'm taking out the trash. I think that's literally how he views it, as like,
but maybe he
they
can't
aren't
decide.
people, so like, why do you all even care?
Maybe he can't decide though.
Yeah.
Maybe it's yes, they're trash, and yes, I'm disposing of them, and I'm a great guy because I'm, taking them off the streets. And then on the flip side of that, maybe he's also like, but I'm a killer, and I ate these kidneys, and I'm doing all these fucked up things, and I can't stop myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that letter definitely feels more just like, look how twisted I am.
Yeah, look
you
at
know?
I'm kooky.
Yeah.
Like, and you wonder if like he started this with that, like, because there's that personal thing that I feel is there, that like somebody in his life made him hate
The
these
mother
kind
or
of
the
women.
mother role.
Yeah, like somebody in his life, like a wife, a girlfriend, a mother, like some woman in his life made him hate, like in his mind, made him hate these women.
Yes.
And I wonder if he started with Polly thinking like, this is my like journey
I'll get it
I'm
out
gonna
here.
take. I'm gonna get this out. I'm gonna teach these women a lesson, kind of thing. And then he saw, and I think to him, he was like, well, no one will give a shit, because who gives a shit about these women in his mind? And then he saw that people did give a shit about this, and that it was causing such a stir, and he slowly started falling into that, like, wait a second, like getting that ego and getting that, like,
Recognize
people are
me.
scared of me. So then now I'm like, was he like, we know he's a little bitch, but it's like, was he even more of a little bitch than we thought he was?
I mean,
And he was
probably.
seeing everybody like suddenly fearing him and being like, Jack the Ripper.
He felt big for the first
And all of a sudden
time.
he's like, fuck, like I have power I didn't have before. And that's why it kept escalating.
Well, and you think about the circumstances of Whitechapel and living there at the time, and nobody really had power.
Yeah, like,
Nobody
power was hard to
had
come
word
by.
or exactly.
yeah,
so
yeah.
now he finally has it.
Yeah, he's got everybody like
But
in
it's
his
in the
grip.
shadows, which is also then going back to that signature of Neptune. And
Yeah.
Pluto that we have in all of these murders. It's like,
The mystery,
because Pluto is
the-
also power, right? It is power. So yeah, you have power, but nobody knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're
It's
a little
like, so-
bitch.
right.
So like,
So do you have power? Like,
so
Yeah,
really?
do
you
you
have
even?
power?
Nobody
Yeah.
even knows who you are.
yeah.
And you're attacking people in like the dead of night on dark street corners.
And immediately cutting their
and
throats.
immediately cutting their
Right,
throat.
yeah,
It's like,
right.
so you're a little bitch.
a little bit.
At the end
Yeah.
of the day,
Yeah.
LB.
It's true.
Jack the Ripper is a little bitch.
He is a little bitch.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah,
It's
I think
true.
it is important to call it like it is, because
Yeah.
this, he has become so mythological, and like he's gotten like sexy. And
Oh yeah, because like people
Yes.
turn him into this like
It's a
sexy
supernatural
dark
thing.
figure
Yeah.
that's just like looming around with a cape and a top hat.
right,
I'm
and
like, I
there's
don't
like a
think he was-
sex
Yeah.
worker, sex energy.
I don't
and
think
it's
he
like,
was rolling around with like a cape and a top hat. Like I don't think, because also he would sit, and I think on the Tobias episode he pointed this out. He would stick out like a sore thumb in
nobody was
Whitechapel,
dressing
walking
like that.
around in a fucking cape and a.
that's so funny.
They'd be like,
Top
it's
hat.
probably that weirdo.
Yeah, they'd be like, it's probably that fucking weird guy over there in the cape. Like,
the-
that's-
the
like,
top hat guy
who
did
could
it.
it be?
maybe this rich guy that's walking
Right,
in here,
this fucking
walking
weirdo
out.
moved to town.
Yeah, it's like, no, I think he probably looked like
He blended
this,
in.
A
like
schlubby little loser.
a dirty, like
Yeah.
just like everyone else there.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so weird how it's become like this sexualized
Sexy.
version of him, of like, look at this like caped figure, and it's like,
But
even
that's
on
like
this-
the Neptune Scorpio
Exactly. Yeah.
like
thing
even
of it all.
like somebody sent us this from it's like a little like the visitor's guide that you
Yeah.
get on the tour in Whitechapel, and even there it's
Hot
like
silhouette.
He's like this
wearing
big
he
looming
has a hot
figure.
silhouette, and it's like, that's not what he looked like.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know we
Draw
will
him tiny.
we will not see a top hat on that man. If he was to materialize in front of us right now, no top hat
be like,
to be seen. Yeah, no cape to be seen.
Ew, I hope he does not materialize.
I hope he
Actually,
doesn't either.
You know what?
Show
Bring
yourself.
it.
Yeah,
show
honestly,
yourself.
let's
Let's
fuck
go
him up.
right now.
I'll stage the room later.
You want some more outspoken women?
Yeah,
We're right here.
We'll outnumber you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
Easy
Whitechapel.
peasy.
We have
This is
outspoken
New
women,
England.
and we have a Mikie in here, so we're gonna kick your ass.
Let's
He's like,
go.
yeah.
You're like, wait, no.
He's like, I might go home now.
I'm not ready for this.
That's so funny.
I love it.
So nobody catches him,
No,
and
Unfortunately.
there
Tale
was
as old as
also-
time.
yeah,
This is just a funny one, but there was a Saucy Jack letter. Do you
yes.
remember
Yes.
the Saucy Jack
Saucy
letter?
Jack.
And
That
one
wasn't
was-
real, though.
It was an interesting one, though, because I think that one mentioned the double event.
So it was
So I remember that one I was
debated.
a little iffy on
On the
because it
fence.
wasn't released that there was a double event yet when it
Okay.
was written. So that's an interesting one.
But it also could have just been somebody who like lived in that particular area.
Yeah, like
who,
somebody
word
definitely
spreads,
found
you know.
out. But yeah,
But you
like
never know.
one
Yeah.
of these like silly police officers who
Yeah, let's send a letter to the
they were
tabloids.
kooky. They were kooky police officers.
And there wasn't a lot going on aside from this, which you would think this would be enough, but
Yeah, it was just a bunch
they
of.
needed some entertainment.
It was a lot of the same.
a lot
you
of the
know?
same misery.
Yeah, literally.
Same old, same old.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
So Mary Jane Kelley, she is the youngest of the victims. She was 25 when she died. We know her birth year. She was born in 1863. Her situation is very different than all the others. She is young. She was murdered indoors. She was murdered in her home. Very upsetting. In the room she was renting. She also was completely like
Eviscerated.
Brutalized
eviscerated.
beyond-
Yeah, I mean she
yeah.
evaporated.
She
practically.
wasn't even-
She
There was nothing holding
you
her
can't
together
make out
anymore.
a human form in the crime scene photo.
yeah.
I mean, and like pieces of her were placed in different places in the room. Yeah, her face was hacked apart. Like her thighs you can see just bone.
Yeah.
He like hacked it right to the bone. Like I can't imagine how long this took.
It
one
said,
of the
it said
things.
over
Had
2
time.
hours.
It had to have taken
Yeah.
so long.
And how did he not calm in the middle of that? You know what I mean? Like, how
That's
are
the
you
thing, like,
frenzied
he
for
was-
2 hours?
I think he was
good question.
frenzied.
How do you not lose steam?
See, I think he was frenzied in the beginning, and I think because it takes a lot to cut into a person.
Of
like it
course.
just does. There's a lot. There's different layers of a human being take a
Layers
lot.
of skin,
Like,
muscle,
it's not as
tendon,
easy.
bone.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think he was frenzied,
tendons.
and I think he was frenzied when he went at her face. I think he was frenzied when he went like when he was hacking away.
and when he killed her.
And then I think he had a moment of like stopping for a second, breathing,
And let me set
and
the
then
scene.
meticulously cutting off her breasts, chopping away at her thighs. Like I think he took a breath and then got meticulous about it.
It's also possible that he thought he was going to get found
Yeah.
in this process.
So he
Right.
was just doing this.
doing the most he could.
He was literally buying time, being
Yeah.
like, well, I guess I'll just keep going because no one's coming yet.
right.
Yeah, I wasn't considering that in preparing these charts, but as we've talked about it, you know, like I think that taking this long of time, and you could argue, well, he was indoors, so like he had the luxury of time.
Yeah.
But there was still like coming and going.
Oh, yeah.
And
There's
this
a
was also
window right
happening
there.
like, you know, in the early hours.
Yeah.
So there was some movement.
People are going to leave for work and
Exactly.
get out to do their
This was
shit.
happening at like, 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Sun was starting to come up. You know, it's not the middle of winter yet, right? We still have a sun that rises pretty early.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
He also, I think I'm pretty sure there was like a fireplace in the room, and I think he like made the fire like blazing too.
Yes.
Like the fire was blazing.
So
when
it's
they
like,
went
come,
in there.
look in
So I
here.
almost think he was drawing attention to it, which that could be drawing attention to him while he's in there or drawing attention to the scene after the fact.
Yeah,
which is
maybe
what
it
he
was
loves to
one of
do.
the last things
Yeah,
he did.
but it's
right?
definitely drawing attention because
Yes.
that was a blazing fire.
Yes.
That she definitely didn't set.
So this is the chart where this is the only murder that takes place during Scorpio season. And Scorpio season is that veil between worlds season. Halloween occurs during Scorpio season. It's end of October into November. And we've talked about Scorpio energy represented in the other planets, but it's that life and death and power and intensity. So this Scorpio season sort of backdrop here, I think, gives it this really eerie, dark, psychological tone. We also have the sun in the same place where Jupiter and Mars were when this whole thing started. So there
That's
is this
interesting.
sort of like this
Full
bookend.
circle.
Yeah.
This conclusion that's
Right.
happening here too. And I wrote a note. I'm seeing crazy Jupiter. So Jupiter now is, it's at 10 degrees of Sagittarius. And we talked about this sort of, this amplification and this magnification. And I think that growth and that dynamism that was happening here in terms of the way that he was doing and the extent of the violence was also him getting crazier. I mean, obviously. But
Yeah.
the reason that I bring that up is because something is changing in him too. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, I'm learning how to do this and I like what I'm doing, so
Yeah.
let me like up the ante for the next one. It's also like he is absolutely unraveling.
Yeah, like where do you go from here?
Well, and
Yes.
also
Yeah.
Sagittarius is known to like have a sense of escapism, right? And then Jupiter's going to expand that. So maybe he's trying to escape from himself, and that's why he wants to get caught here.
He wants to get caught. He 100%
like I
wants to
need
get
to
caught.
get
Because
out
again,
of this
he
cycle.
took his time here. He was not
Right.
frenzied through this whole thing because he placed like organs under her head. He like placed some under her legs. So like he's
just
setting
going nuts.
that scene. Like he was, and like with this one too, which is interesting, he took her heart, like just her heart.
Took
They
it from
never
the
found
scene.
it. Took it from the scene. They never found her heart, and for the organ to be the heart that he takes this time,
That's so significant.
like there's significance.
What
there.
do you think about that?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, in medical astrology, the heart is associated with Leo. Saturn is in Leo in this chart. In all of these, we had Saturn in Leo. And there is this very much of, this energy of ego and sort of making your mark. I mean, I
Right.
think it's very performative. I think it's very much about sort of like, and now I take your heart.
Yeah.
And
Which is
like,
your
this
life
is
force.
Your life force. And like, this is the testament of like, taking something from you that is like also symbolic of love and
Yep.
symbolic of affection and connection, but it's like,
I'm taking everything away from
yes, take your heart is to take your ability to be alive.
you. Yeah,
you
your
know?
vitality,
Makes you
everything.
human.
Yes, to
Like
take
that's what makes you human. And this, I suppose, could go because I'm thinking about it and I'm like, okay, if this is like a medical person,
Which
I
it
think-
is.
which I believe it is, but I wonder too, like at that time, what they considered the like
The life
humanity of you, your brain
Yes.
or your heart.
Yes.
And to me, it feels like maybe like I think now they look at it more like your brain is probably what makes you human. When you're brain dead, nothing else can really
Right.
happen. But back then, I wonder if it was a little more like romanticized, where it's like the heart is
It's
the
everything.
thing that makes you human. And like in the beginning, we were saying how like he looks at these women, I think, as subterranean, not human. And I think he was making sure that everyone else saw them that way. This is his like magnum opus of like, see, she doesn't even have a heart. She's not even a human. Like that's what makes you love. That's what makes you kind. That's what makes you a good person. And I took it. She doesn't even have that.
Yeah.
Like it
Like
feels so
she's not
significant.
worth loving. She's not
Yeah,
worth
she
remembering.
doesn't even have a heart.
In his mind.
Which
Yeah,
makes
and
me
it's
think
also
again.
it's also very much sort of like I am in charge of you.
Yep.
I own you.
I have this now and I always will.
Yeah. And I wonder if it's like that. And that makes me think too that whoever it was that he was thinking of when he killed these women was in his mind cruel and unloving, which could be a mother, could be a wife, could be
figure,
it
mother
could be
figure.
a sister. It could be anybody that he saw as this person that was close to
It was a
him.
prominent female,
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're definitely onto something with that.
The moon was also in Capricorn on this night.
That's harsh.
November 9th,
harsh.
1888.
It's way harsh.
Well,
Ty.
moon in Capricorn, and I don't want to for anyone who has a moon in Capricorn who's listening, you are not Jack the Ripper, so don't personalize
Hopefully.
this.
Let's hope.
This is about him, not you. But the moon is considered to be in a very compromised place in Capricorn. Capricorn, the moon represents the mother, and the moon is how we take care of ourselves, how we're taken care of. It's in its domicile. It's in its home base in the sign of Cancer. It's very nurturing, loving, maternal, supportive. Capricorn, its opposite sign, which was also connected to the south node of past lives. So another indication that this is something historic that he's replaying here. But the moon in Capricorn is like mommy issues 101.
Because that's like
This man has mommy issues. He absolutely does.
that's like your mom being your biggest critic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And of course, we still have, and also you being heartless, literally, about your mom.
Yeah.
Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and it is, it does not have time for emotions.
No.
It does not want to be sweet and tender.
does not.
It wants to.
It's rules. It's
rules.
rigid.
Can
It's,
confirm.
yeah.
It does not.
Yeah,
It's by the book.
it's by the book. So
Which is also like maybe that's why his like mom probably was somebody who was against sex work. It was wrong. It was against the book, like
Yeah.
in her mind.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he felt
I
this
think
way.
it could be that, or it could be, I mean, in astrology and all spirituality, opposites are the same. You know, to be so against sex work is to be a sex worker, right?
Yeah.
It's like it ultimately like sort of
Yeah.
eats its own tail,
Yeah.
right? And I think that a moon in Capricorn, you know, if we were to do this sort of psychological analysis of it, it's feeling like you weren't loved. So to me, this would indicate more of maybe a mother who was out, you know, using her body with a lot of men, doing something that, you know, was neglectful to her children, to this
That's
Jack
what it feels
the Ripper.
like to me.
It does
you know,
feel that way.
Yeah.
like just not connected. And I'm saying using her body kind of almost in a channeling sort of way of, as I'm thinking of how he would be perceiving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then to mutilate these bodies and to rip them apart and to take apart the bodies.
The one
it's
thing
like
of value that you have.
Yeah.
I'm taking
it's like
it.
I'm deconstructing this. Who is my mother?
Yeah.
Who is the body of my mother?
Yeah.
I 100% think that is what it is, that his mother was likely a sex worker and was not around or something of that. Because, I mean, you look at a lot of, unfortunately, the canonical five especially, or any of the ones that aren't the canonical five but have been mentioned in the Whitechapel murder file, they have there's a sad path of like, a lot of them
doing
will
their
have
best.
kids and they'll do their best to try to
Get their
be
kids
there,
back.
but then they end up on the streets again and having to do this, and they end up like not seeing their kids, or they do see their kids and they have these like strained relationships,
Yeah.
but they're always trying to get back to that like mother role of like being there.
And it's just not attainable.
So it is a thing that happened so often there and so often in Whitechapel in that time period.
and so
that it
much so that
wouldn't
it's
be
rooted in the history of
yeah,
it.
it wouldn't be shocking that this could be a younger guy, like in his 20s, you know, who had a mother or has a mother who was going through a similar thing.
Yeah.
And could still be on the streets right now doing that. Like, who knows?
And we haven't brought up the fact that all of these women are also alcoholics.
all of
Yeah.
them. And they all have nicknames like associated with their alcoholism
And
sometimes.
even on the
like,
nights of their death, you know, many of them are drunk. Many of them were seen drunk, were in jail
prison.
Yeah,
because they were drunk
exactly.
that night. In this time and in this place, it's like those lifestyles coexist.
Yeah.
Right? It's difficult to get out of the situation when you also are struggling with addiction.
Yep.
And then you also have to sort of work in a field that allows you to have and enables your addiction. And, you know, addiction, right? And addiction is
Yeah.
going to make you very, very difficult for you to be a good mom.
Yeah.
It's very hard to be present for your kid. And I'm sure that it's even worse than that. I'm sure that this Jack the Ripper was also probably like sexually abused and could have been sexually abused by his mother, you know? I'm sure it's the darkest and most horrific version of this story because these are the darkest and most horrific ways of expressing that,
Yeah.
you know, and processing that pain.
And wasn't I think the kidney, the From Hell kidney, was in some sort of,
Yeah, it was in
Alcohol.
wine.
Yeah.
It was in a spirit.
so it's like, was that?
That's true. I mean, that's also...
another
it's
part of it,
preserving it,
preserving it,
you
in
know?
that
You'll always
alcohol.
be part of this.
Like alcohol is part of this whole thing.
yeah.
yeah. Alcohol has to be part of it.
Yeah. It really does. I think we're solving it, guys.
We are. We're in
figuring
process.
this out. We're figuring this out.
So that's our last Spitfire lady,
Yes.
of which they were all. We remember them all. We have names for them all, which is
Yep.
pretty interesting. And you know, cool. I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm glad
The
we know who
astrology of
they are.
it is, yeah.
And
Yeah.
the astrology just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It really does. And it really is that whole like there are no coincidences.
No,
Yes.
there are not.
The
Yes.
odds of most of this stuff is astronomical.
Need a boost? Sometimes all it takes is tapping into your inner cool. Icebreaker's gum helps you unleash the confidence within. Each chew releases a rush of icy flavor powered by cooling flavor crystals, sending a wave of refreshment to reinvigorate all your senses. Icebreaker's convenient pack fits everywhere. From car cup holders to backpack pockets, so you can find your cool wherever you go. Grab Icebreakers gum online or at a store near you.
Do you remember in school when you just knew that your teacher had a favorite of everything? They would always use the same blue dry erase marker when they wrote on the board, or they would talk nonstop about their favorite element during science. I had a teacher once that literally had a favorite brand of marker. She would only write with specific markers, and if another marker ended up in her classroom, she was TO'd. And honestly, I was probably her favorite student because at the end of the year, I got her that specific brand of marker. Let's talk about their real favorite thing, though. Their favorite tissue brand. Kleenex. According to teacher lists, they are the #1 facial tissue trusted by teachers. Kleenex Ultra Soft tissues are silky soft to help prevent skin irritation, and now you can take them anywhere with Kleenex Snap and Go. I absolutely love Kleenex Snap and Go. It's so perfect to have that in your car. I had a cold last week and I was just... Honey, my nose was a faucet. I hate to do this to you, but it was disgusting. Drew literally came out of our garage with like 15 of the Kleenex Snap and Goes, and I put those in my glove compartment, and honey, they were easy access. It was so nice knowing that I didn't have to blow my nose into like an old wrapper that I had. Ew. So do the best thing for your kids' teachers and stock up on the ultimate classroom favorite. Maybe it'll make them their teacher's favorite student. They definitely have a favorite. Don't even get me started because, again, you know it was me. For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex. The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat. Comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion. Quince makes it easy to create a summer wardrobe that you'll love, with elevated essentials made from premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, and washable silk, without the traditional retail markup. I love that! Quince's 100% European linen pants, dresses, and tops are the pieces that you absolutely will reach for all summer long. I absolutely love their linen. I have so many pairs of their linen pants, which you can dress up or you can dress down in the summer. Like, say you're going to a nice dinner, you can pair it with like a silk shirt, a really cute necklace, some good, makeup and an updo. Or if you're just looking for a more casual look, you can do the linen pants with like a loose button-up shirt and you still look really chic, kind of like, I don't know, Diane Keaton vibes, I kind of think. Also, it's not just apparel. Quince also offers elevated essentials for your home, from bedding and bath to kitchen essentials and furniture. They have it all, honey. I am a big lover of Quince, and I really do think you will be too. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/morbid for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/morbid for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/morbid.
So then we get into our funny cast of characters.
Yes.
Right.
We have Sir Charles Warren.
Sir Charles Warren.
The head of the London Metropolitan Police, came in that role in 1886, left in 1888.
Yeah. Not long.
Not long. So he was an Aquarius sun and an Aries moon. And the first thing that I jotted down when I was looking at his chart was that, he hates being told what to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he has a temper and he looks out for himself and he is not an easy person to collaborate with.
Yeah.
And, we have some other placements as well that are interesting here. He has a Saturn in Sagittarius. He has his Jupiter in Scorpio, which means his Jupiter return was happening during this time.
So much Scorpio energy.
Yes.
And
I know, damn.
And like coinciding with Jupiter.
He also, the first murder, which is sort of, the birth chart of these murders, coincided with his South Node of fate and destiny. So there was this, between having a Jupiter return in Scorpio, which is, it happens every 12 years, and it's supposed to be a very auspicious time. We typically consider it this time of like luck and abundance and good things coming in. There were a lot of things that were happening all at the same time. Bloody Sunday happened just a year before, November 13th, 1887, which, he was sort of he called for that police brutality that was taking place then. So he had previously been thought of as this sort of like more progressive guy. He was an archaeologist.
Yeah, and
he was an
like into
academic.
science. He was
Yeah. And then suddenly he becomes this like tough guy.
like military guy.
And that's not like what his skills were.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not what he was good at. So it's almost like, and this happens in astrology, it's like if you're going down the wrong path, the universe is going to like push you back on the other. He ended up going back into more academic work.
Yeah.
And into
Better suited
for him.
sure.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that was so interesting
Yeah.
because he was, he's someone who was kind of like, he wasn't doing the right kind of work for being this Aquarius sun of like, let's go and explore Palestine and think about like these different regions of the world. The first picture that you see when you Google him is like him, in some exotic location.
Yeah, it's true.
With like the colonial whole apparel on.
And that's honestly the vibe that he gives anyways. When you look at a picture of him, you're like, what are you doing?
What are you doing here?
Why are you being a police commissioner?
You got a big old mustache. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go dig up some stuff.
Yes.
learn
And not
some
this
stuff.
because you're not
doing
working.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right. Him having that graffiti cleaned off before they could even come and take a picture of it. Right there.
He was like, "Oh, come on, this isn't
like,
nice.
Oh, let's stop that.
Hey,
like,
don't say
on.
that.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, you gotta take a picture of it, my guy. Like he messed
Yeah,
that
that's not
whole
how a
thing
crime
up.
scene works.
And he didn't even realize that was going to make him look bad, too. Like he wasn't even thinking that way because he's just not good at it.
Yeah,
His brain just doesn't work
This
that way.
was not his skill set.
No.
So he resigned, literally on the day of the last murder.
Yep.
Which is another tank. There are no coincidences.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But, with having the head of the police department resigning at this time, I think it also speaks to just like the chaos and the kookiness of the investigation at this time.
Because he's just like, you know what?
It's like you're all the way into
do it
this.
anymore. We're so
what?
deep.
Right.
Yeah.
And now somebody else just has to take this on from this.
Yeah.
And that also, it's like the looking out for yourself thing. Like, my guy, like, you're really in the thick of like something horrible happening in this community.
Right.
And you're like, you know what? I don't want the criticism.
Yeah, he's like, you know what?
I can't take
I've had
it.
this. I've had enough.
It's every man for himself.
Every man for himself. That's enough bossing me around.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Do it yourself. Figure it out.
I'm going back to digging up bones.
Yeah, he said no.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah, and ultimately, like, better for him.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that was his Jupiter return. His Jupiter return was like, I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong field.
Yeah.
And for us, that kind of like sucks.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Because his self-actualization journey means that we don't know who Jack the Ripper is.
Right.
Yeah.
And probably if
Thanks
we
a
had
lot.
somebody who was like a little more locked in, like some of the people who came in later on.
A little more destined to do this.
Exactly. A little more of your passion.
Right.
Yeah.
A little more of your mission, your dharma, if you will.
Yeah.
Right,
What you were
right.
good at. Go with your skill set.
And then we have Donald Swanson. So he was in charge of overseeing the Jack Ripper murders. Him and Robert Anderson, who is like probably the funniest character here.
I love
Just
it.
Out to lunch.
Yeah.
Literally.
He was in Switzerland for most of the murders.
Yeah. And then
he's
he
just
like
not
went on
around.
vacation
That's
again.
so helpful.
Yeah, and then he was like, ugh, I have one more family vacation.
He's like,
real
I have a
quick."
little more
Like,
PTO.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say.
I will be utilizing that.
He was like, they said if I don't use it, I lose
runs
it.
out.
So I'm gonna go.
I'll be in
almost
Sweden.
the end of the
I'll be
year.
right back.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
So the two of them together, I sort of see them like, and they work together. They were sort of passing the torch back and forth when Robert Anderson was out, when he is out of office on.
Right.
Donald Swanson was coming in. So Donald Swanson, a Leo sun, a Capricorn moon. So Robert Anderson, a Gemini sun, and a Virgo moon.
We've seen
So
that.
it's that reverse of something that we've already started to see.
Twice.
Right? Yes. Gemini and Virgo. So what's kind of interesting, because I was musing on this one in particular, where I was like, okay, well, we know that these are important placements for the murders chart, right? The chart of the murder, Polly Nichols' chart, she was the reverse of it. So what does it mean? He also had Neptune and Pluto directly on his sun that signature that we're tracking through all of this, like he was being activated. I'm like, is he the murderer?
Oh God, that's why he keeps dipping to Sweden.
Yeah.
But he does something interesting in the case, which is that he and Swanson feel a shame for not finding him. So they are the ones who bring in Aaron.
Yeah.
They're the ones who start talking about Polish Jews.
Well, it must be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole narrative really begins under their watch.
Yep.
And to me, when we go back to the story of communication and storytelling, which is the signature of this chart and this whole narrative, it's like this is how you tell a story, right? You
set it
find a
all up.
scapegoat.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
And this is not to say that, I don't want to completely rule out Aaron Kaminsky. Is that his name?
Kosminski.
Kosminski. Because there's some really interesting things we have to look at in his chart.
There is, for sure.
And some really like where our heads are going to explode when we see his chart.
Oh, I bet.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
And the relationship between Robert Anderson's chart and his chart. So a little spoiler, a little tease, if you will, of what could come. But he establishes him, but then Swanson doubles down on it and writes in like the margins of like, it was him.
Like, ooh.
Like his deathbed. Like,
Yeah. Right. It's just like,
he did it.
and I think is it Swanson? Swanson took really like detailed, intricate like research notes on this case. Like,
And
he
is a moon in Capricorn.
Oh,
So he is
there you
meticulous.
go. So that's why.
A Leo sun, Capricorn moon.
He was kind of destined for his role.
Yes.
In this all.
Yes. He was very serious.
Right.
He was very serious about his work, his
the book.
job. He was very serious about picking up the slack, I think, for Robert Anderson. But ultimately there were details that he got twisted at the end.
Yeah.
He
Just
was
to make
also
the story make sense.
Well, he was also the person who, I wrote it here in my notes, he believed it to be Kosminski, but the death details that he has around him don't add up. When he says that it's Kosminski, and he's like, but Kosminski died a long time ago. He hadn't died yet.
Yeah.
So
He was conflating him with.
so he was conflating him with another Polish Jew in the area whose name was Aaron David Cohen, potentially. But then Cohen was sort of the anglicized version of a more Polish name. And at some point, their files were actually
Two
together.
Aarons become one.
Yes, exactly.
When Aaron's collide.
Gemini.
Yeah.
More Gemini energy.
there you
Gemini
go.
is the twins, right? So there was this sort of like conflating, and we're looking to these two people to sort of be like, well, you have all these notes. What do you think, guys?
Yeah.
Like, what's your findings?
Right.
And they can't even get the names right for these people.
Yeah.
And to me, then this also goes back to the undercurrent and this sort of subplot of the anti-Semitism in Whitechapel.
Yep.
And this makes that graffiti to me really important as a detail of just even time and place.
Oh, for sure.
Where we have anti-Semitism here in this community, and it's building. And we all know where things go in Europe.
Exactly.
Not very long
Headed.
after this,
Yeah.
right?
So it's an important
The
key
direction
detail.
things are moving in. And then we have a unsolved case, and we have these immigrants in the community who are also going into insane asylums.
Yeah.
Maybe for good reasons, maybe for medium reasons, but whatever it is, it's very easy to be like, it was
Scapegoat.
them.
Yeah.
And they're
Easy
dead and
scapegoat.
locked up.
And
so
now it's
don't
done.
worry. It's
Case
done.
closed.
Case
Talking about it.
closed.
Yeah. Nobody has
Good
to talk
night,
about it anymore.
everyone.
You can all sleep soundly.
Yes.
And that happens now. I mean, that happens now where police will rush. It happens less, luckily, now, but like these big cases will happen and they'll rush to pin it on someone. West Memphis 3 is a key one.
Yeah.
Where he said himself.
We'll have you
that
back for those
Oh my
stars.
God, we should do those stars for sure. Where it was like 3 8-year-olds who got murdered. So of course the community is up in arms. Wants this solved, wants to find out who did it. They found the first 3 kids they could pin it on.
Yep.
And we're like, so it's fine. They did it. Don't
They're
worry about
weird.
it. There's
And now
not
they're
some
locked up.
weirdo.
Is this the Damien Eccles
Yeah,
one?
that story is crazy. And the police chief They asked him. He had zero evidence to arrest them, and they asked him at a press conference.
Yeah, the satanic panic.
And lies and like false testimonies.
They literally asked him on a scale of 0 to 10, how tight is your case? And he said 11.
Yeah, honey.
And it's like they didn't have 11. A shred of evidence against these kids.
No physical evidence whatsoever.
Sometimes police departments feel like they need to put out that like, we are so confident about this, so everyone else should be.
Mm-hmm. And it's so stop talking about it.
Yeah, in fact, we did
you
this.
You shouldn't have any more questions.
Richard Speck. We just covered that case. They had nothing. They had no leads. Absolutely not a shred of evidence. But they came out to the people in the press and said, "We're super confident that we have so many leads up the butt. We know what we're doing
because it's embarrassing for the police. You know, there's a lot of
it's your job.
It's your job.
Yeah,
it's your job.
Have to, and the public can build to a crescendo of
and
chaos.
There's not a lot of understanding. There's not a lot of room for that.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of this. Is they were like, it's fine. He's in an asylum. He's who you thought he was. He's an immigrant. Didn't we all know that? Like that kind of thing. So it just pleases everybody. Like, shut up. It's fine. Mm-hmm. We did our job. We figured out who the bad guy was. Like, the end.
Yeah.
So maybe let's look at Aaron's chart here.
Yeah. We need. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And to have our brain rocked.
Especially because Aaron is a Virgo sun, Gemini moon. And that is what Polly was.
Whoa.
And where
everything.
The sun and moon were at the first murder.
Whoa.
That. Hello?
Wow.
Hello?
Wow.
So,
that's
damn
fucking
Aaron.
Wild.
Damn.
Okay, tell us more.
What else could I say? I mean, that's it.
You're like, I already
case
dropped
closed.
the mic.
You're like, that's it.
Case closed. You don't need the mitochondria. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, you know, it's interesting because obviously he has a very important, he was born September 11th, maybe a tank, I don't know. September 11th, 1865, in somewhere I can't pronounce, Poland. Klodawa, Poland.
There you go.
Bear with me. Yeah. And I wrote, basically I just wrote all over this, has the same sun and moon as Molly Nichols and the same sun and moon as the birth chart for her death and for the first murder.
That's so weird.
So what?
Yeah, like what does that mean?
What does it mean?
Again, that's crazy coincidental.
He also had Jupiter in Sagittarius and Jupiter at the last murder, when we said that Jupiter in Sagittarius was that big crazy energy, it was exact to his.
The exact degree.
Exact degree.
20
degrees.
Damn.
And there's 30 degrees in each.
Yeah, 0 to 29.
That's weird.
I'm just like,
that's weird.
And not only that, but remember, a Gemini moon, and especially his is at 8 degrees, it was exactly conjunct the Neptune-Pluto signature.
Yep.
That is this distinctive signature of these.
So he is fully, like, it's
he
like
locks
those,
in.
Yeah, those puzzle pieces that just,
He just locks in.
He locks in. And the person
is Jack the Ripper Aaron?
The person who
Aaron?
I know, the person who accused him, Anderson, right?
Anderson was the one who
did
first,
it first.
I think, came up with it, and then Swanson kind of outed him.
Swanson wrote it in the margins.
Yeah, he was like, it was him.
He's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Kosminski.
It was
hell yeah, brother.
So he is the reverse of that.
Right.
So he also, it's like there are these mirror images. So they're sort of circling each other.
Like so entwined.
Entwined.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So it's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because, so he's a very easy scapegoat, right? Just let's hold how the chart shows up as something significant that we can't ignore. And then also recognize that he was nonviolent. He matches the description of somebody who could do this because he was a mentally ill local man, but he did not have a history of he does not have a history of violence towards women. He doesn't have a history of violence in general. He was very frail. One of the issues
that's a
one of
huge
his
issue.
mental illness expressions was he refused to eat.
Yeah.
So there's reports of him weighing like 98 pounds.
Yeah.
He's not going to be frenzied for 2 hours in a room.
He couldn't do it.
There's no way.
He was, I think he was a barber at one point, which back then barbers did have anatomical knowledge.
To
but
that degree, though.
To that degree, and when you add the frailty in it.
He well, here's another piece of the communication, is that he basically only spoke Yiddish.
Oh.
He did not speak English.
So he would not be able to write those letters.
And
or
the communication from them just wouldn't.
These ladies to go into dark alleys with him.
Right.
That's true.
But that's another communication narrative of this story.
Which is Gemini.
Yes. So it's interesting because we have this person who, is kind of a perfect storm for someone that we can pin it on, right? But then we also have this shawl that keeps coming back, like the New York Times article about astrology not being real keeps coming back. This shawl and this evidence, which I know we put your insert in here already.
Yeah.
But the fact that like this, we can't seem to divorce.
We can't get away from it.
Yeah. This suspect from this murder. But in my heart, like it's not him.
No.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
I think it's because he's the one. I think Swanson putting that little footnote in there and it being such like a weird little like it was him.
Right.
I think that was the thing that just like you can like hang a hat on that really easily. You know what I mean? Because that's the one that like endures as the name.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was conflated with another name, first of all, they didn't even know who they were talking about there. So we don't even know if he meant this Kosminski.
He could have meant the other guy entirely.
Yeah, and they were like really old and like writing memoirs, and they were
So
like,
they were just like,
we'll give you
totally.
the big ending by the book.
There was a couple errands in there. Why not?
Well, maybe the whole him fitting so perfectly into the puzzle piece is just you're going to be a part of this forever.
He's
even
locked
if
in.
you're not the
like
person who
your
did
name
this.
is going to be associated.
You are
with it
that
forever.
is your destiny.
Yeah,
part of it.
Your destiny is to be another piece of the story.
Right. Yeah.
He is part of the story, whether or not he is Jack the Ripper.
Right. Exactly.
And I think that when we look at him in this story and him and Polly Nichols, having the same sun and moon, the suspect, the alleged murderer, and the first victim, and then the sun and the moon being in those same points on the first murder, it's like, of course, he would get swept up in the energy of this.
Yeah. He's part of the energy of
Yes,
this.
he is.
Whether he wants
and
to
he's
be or
also
not.
part of the zeitgeist of that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
And him having a Jupiter return at the moment of this final, most brutal and horrific murder, is that a tank? Is there no coincidences about that? And then suddenly it's like, well, we're going to direct the attention over here. But also in his life, he was falling apart too.
Yeah.
Right? In his
Just
own
in a different
potentially
way.
separate life.
Yeah.
His mental illness was getting worse.
Yeah.
He wasn't eating. He had to move back in with his family.
Yeah.
He was put in an asylum. So to me, it's like sliding doors, you know?
Yeah.
He was put into an asylum in 1891, and he was listed as a suspect in 1894. So he wasn't even initially listed as a suspect.
Yeah.
So to me, what I think is also interesting, it's like these years go by. We have, 5+ years now, and we have a person. And I don't think that they had an astrologer working with them at this time. They probably should have.
They should have.
But they have a person who is the chart for the murder. So it's like, well, here it is.
Yeah. Throw it all on him.
This is the same.
And again, it's so easy to do with someone who's been put in an asylum to just be like, well, he did it.
Yes.
Why
and
not?
that's why it stopped.
He did it
right
and
around
it
that
stopped.
time.
Look at that.
And it's over. And everyone, you can go back to your normal lives.
And it's like that narrative fits to a degree where you're just like, well, of course, nothing else happened after this. He's in an asylum. It stopped. But it's like, babe, I don't think he would have kept going anyway.
Well,
like,
he was
I don't
also-
think
That
he
was
needed
that
the
was the
asylum.
finale.
I think that was it.
the finale.
That was the
Yeah.
crescendo. That was the apex. That was the finale. That was Elfine. And he was going to be done with it.
Yeah.
It's like, so I don't think people will say like, that's well, obviously he was in an asylum. That's why he couldn't do anything else. And it's like, he wasn't gonna.
No, that wasn't the plan.
Like, that was it. He had done his master plan. Who knows if he started a whole different series of something
somewhere else
later, or if that was it.
Right.
And he either killed himself, he got caught doing something else, like whatever. But I don't think he was going to keep going the same way.
Well, he also didn't get put into an asylum for another 3 years.
Yeah.
So
it didn't stop him. Because he was doing these
that wasn't
in
the thing.
quick succession.
and he would have had to have been completely mad at that point at the end of the Mary Jane Kelley murder. So it wouldn't have
absolutely.
taken 3 years for him to end up.
I think that it could have been someone who had a similar profile to him.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it could have been another local lunatic, obviously. But, like, it's not... I don't think that it's based on even just the physical description and what the manifestations of his mental illness were. I don't think it could have physically been him. You need to have the strength,
stamina,
to do this.
All of the above.
and again, the knowledge, the patience, a steady hand.
Yeah.
They had all these things.
Yeah.
But now my favorite person on the case comes in. So my favorite is Aberline.
Yes.
Do you like Aberline too?
I do.
Yes,
I love him.
I remember. We talked a whole bunch about him.
Yes.
Yeah. So Aberline comes in and is like, step aside.
I got this.
I got this.
Hell yeah.
So, you know why you love Aberline? He's a Capricorn.
Of course he's got this.
Of course he
And of course
is.
he says step aside.
He said, shut the hell up,
He said
everybody.
this is
I
a
got
solo
this."
investigation now.
So he's a Capricorn, solo investigation. Yeah. He's a Capricorn sun and he's an Aries moon.
Oh.
But this rocked me. So his moon and Pluto, which, you know, we've talked about Pluto, are conjunct in his chart. So moon in Aries, Pluto in Aries in his chart. And when I was jotting down, you know, when I was just sort of musing on this, I wrote very strong connection to women. And this energy could almost express itself as wanting to be like an avenger,
The hero.
for women.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then as I was, you know, pulling up his bio and understanding his role, I found that he was raised by a single mom.
Yep.
Wow, yeah.
And
I remember talking about that.
I got goosebumps because I was like, oh my gosh, he understood the humanity of this case in a way that some of these other
They did not.
guys
Dudes did
just
not.
like they were thinking about their own ego. They were thinking about their vacation days. They were just not locked in.
Yeah.
They weren't locked in, but he was locked in. And something that also was an interesting testament to that was the fact that he would patrol the streets himself and also with his, you know, with other police officers that he would sort of put in charge of that. And they would give women money to go into shelters for the night and to have beds so that while they didn't know what was going on, that they could be safe in the middle of the night. So he was like actively trying to protect.
Like an avenger for women.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
So if I were to like cast this, we would make this sort of the hero sort of mirror image to the Jack the Ripper who hates women, right? Who
The
is
antithesis.
the antithesis of that,
Yes, yes.
who hates women. So it's, to me, like seeing that moon, Pluto in Aries signature, and then he also has the sun conjunct Saturn, both in Capricorn in his chart. Very serious, very committed. Also, you know, if I were to see this in a chart of just anybody now, I would say like, oh, you had to be the parent of your household. You know, you were probably you had to grow up really fast and take on a lot of responsibilities. That obviously checks out for his upbringing. You know, his dad died when he was young and he was raised by his single mom, right?
Yeah.
So he had to figure out how to take matters into his own hands.
Take on his father's role.
Take on the father's role. And he kind of, you know, in this story of all of these different inspectors, sort of became the only one who really, I feel like, was sensitive to the conditions. And he believed that George Chapman was Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And George Chapman, who we have his chart,
Okay.
who is a serial killer, hates women.
Ding, ding, ding.
Boom. And like you
women.
said, that was his finale, but maybe he started doing stuff elsewhere.
He could have done something else. That was
Because I don't think after that you're
Yeah.
going to stop killing entirely.
No,
like
I
you
don't think you're
clearly
just-
have fun with
Yeah.
that, you know?
there's definitely something there. But yeah, I think he maybe switched to a different place, or he switched to a different
Method.
MO, you know?
So George Chapman, who was executed for the murders that he ended up being convicted for, which was 3 women who were his mistresses. And he basically, he would poison them to death.
Yeah.
But he was also very, very violent, and he was very physically abusive to all of the women. But he was a womanizer. He had lots of relationships and women around him, and he was jumping from one marriage to the next and making women call themselves his wife, and then he was bringing other women home, and it's like basically he was trying to have a harem.
Right.
And he was a serial killer, right? Yep. So he was born on December 14th, 1865, making him a Sagittarius, and also meaning that he was connected to, as well, that Jupiter and Sagittarius energy that we saw building, right? That crescendo of energy. His sun in Sagittarius is going to be amplified by Jupiter. And Sagittarius is the opposite of Gemini. And we had that Neptune, Pluto, Gemini signature. So he's also directly locked in too. So to me, I think that he fits in to this puzzle as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And he has a moon in Scorpio and a Saturn conjunction to his moon in Scorpio. My note here is he hates women.
Yeah,
he does.
Because just in the way that we talked about the moon in Capricorn being really harsh and sort of like having no emotions, the moon in Scorpio is also, it's considered to be in its fall in this placement. It is like a dark energy. There's shame. There's weird sex stuff. There's weird power stuff. There's weird probably Oedipus things of wanting to have sex with your own mother things. Like there's a very dark and complicated relationship with women. To any of our moon and Scorpio people listening,
doesn't necessarily
I'm
mean
not talking about you. I'm talking about a serial killer.
Right. Perfect set of circumstances.
Also, not to mention that there's a meme that lists the astrological signs of like all of the most iconic serial killers, and they're all mutable signs. They're all Virgos, Geminis, Sagittarius, or Pisces.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Because you have to have that sort of like changeability.
Duality.
Yes. Of course, we also have Aaron, who is a Virgo sun. So he would also fit that bill as well.
But you know what?
Even though he's not the killer.
It's interesting because like one of the things that I remember being like against him, that people were like, no, it's not him, is they were like, he's not going to do these brutal eviscerations and then switch to poisoning his wives. Like those are 2 different MOs. And it's like,
maybe he is.
Or
because he was done here.
Well, and also, or he looked at those other, the canonical 5.
Those aren't his
Those aren't his wives.
That's what I was thinking too.
Those are sex workers. So he's going to rip them apart and make them not human anymore. His wives, he treats them horribly, but they get a step up
because they're associated with him.
They get the more like, higher class way of dying. And he also gets to watch them die slowly.
Yes.
Right?
And even more to your point, there are the sex workers who he just totally brutalizes.
Yep.
There are the mistresses that he poisons and brutalizes.
Yep.
And then there are his wives that he just physically abuses.
Yeah. So there
is a hierarchy.
There is a hierarchy. He
doesn't
literally
kill his actual
triaging
wives.
how he kills these people.
Which even like lends itself to the fact that he went into this with a plan.
Yeah.
And that's why maybe there really was just supposed to be 4.
Yeah.
And he's methodical in the way that he planned this whole thing out.
I believe he went in thinking he was going to get 4.
It's almost like different projects for him.
Yeah. And I think that where do you go after that last murder?
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not just going to go do that again.
And there is
there's
the same sort of like precise sort of, he's dosing them. There is this obsession with detail and the anatomy and the body. There's a clinical nature to it.
He was a barber, I was just going to ask what he was. I think he was also a barber, which back then barbers did have anatomical knowledge. That was
it's like barber surgeon.
Yeah, literally like a barber surgeon.
Barber
slash shit was different.
Like the barber pole, that's like the red pole and white pole. The red is because they used to hang bloody rags outside and it looked like that pole. So that's a representation of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was like an artery and a vein, I think is also what
exactly, because it's like blue and red.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe.
valid. Maybe.
I would say that of all of these suspects,
the strongest.
Yes, and also because we have Aberline, Frederick Aberline, who is like the women avenger.
Yeah.
And he's the one who says, I know someone who hates women.
Yeah.
And I know someone, like, as someone who loves women, I've decided that he loves women.
I can spot
but I feel
someone who
it. I
hates
feel it
women.
in his
Single
chart.
mom who works too hard.
Right. And he like and he's giving money to the women. We don't hear about any other character doing
You
that.
have to be a lovely person to
And
do
think
that.
about the time period back
Yeah.
then of like those women were not respected by many
No.
people at all.
Especially
and
not
is
law
a high,
enforcement.
Like, exactly. This
Yeah.
is a high standing man
Yeah.
in society, like helping out, you know?
Did we just
Wait,
solve it?
not to mention that his last name, why didn't I notice this?
It's Chapman, Annie Chapman.
That's his anglicized name. His real last name is Klosowski.
Which is pretty close to Kosminski.
That's real close to Kosminski.
Yeah. So could these have just been like, could there be a lot of like
Clerical
clerical,
error.
which would be so
it would be
Mercury,
so-
Gemini,
yeah.
Virgo coded.
And very
That also-
of that moment.
Of that moment, and that happens all the time in cases like this,
Yes.
especially the ones that we talk about that take forever to get solved. 9 out of 10 times there is a clerical error
Yes, that
involved.
fucked everything up,
Yeah.
and then they
Amazing.
figure it out.
Yeah, wow, that's really fascinating, actually.
I gotta look even further into George Chapman, and we gotta like.
Guys, we're about to do 8
I'm
more
pretty
parts.
sure-
Well, when he died, he had no remorse.
yeah,
He had
was a complete
no care.
dick.
He never. He was like he didn't say any last words.
That's why,
Just didn't
and
give
it
a
had
shit.
to have been someone like that.
And also think of
do
that. He
these
didn't say
things.
any last words, and we have storytelling in words as like a piece
Oh,
here.
shit.
So the only thing, I mean, there's a lot of things that would weaken this case, but one of them is that I do feel like in those murders in 1888, in those 5, like there was just such a desire to be caught.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
shake that feeling.
Yeah.
That whoever, which would make me feel like whoever it was could have just like offed themselves right after, you know? And the reason we don't know
'Cause they
who it
weren't
is,
caught.
is just somebody who just like couldn't deal with the insanity that they were going through, which obviously they had to be.
Yeah,
Because why did it stop? You could say it stopped because it switched.
yeah, because then he went to poisoning.
Yeah.
Right. Went
They
back
could
home.
have.
Just try a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
see
why
what
not?
his favorite is.
See
Pick
what
your poison.
fits.
It's like I said, little projects.
Yeah,
Little projects.
might be George Chapman, guys.
I mean, I think it could be.
That was fascinating.
You're so good.
You are so
You are like my
good.
astrology idol. I'm sitting here
Yeah.
like, I got to get this good.
Like, goddamn.
Wild.
Well, I mean, it's a real treat
Yeah.
This-
to solve a 150-year-old murder.
centuries old
not
mystery.
every
you know,
day,
on
you
this
know.
beautiful couch in this beautiful room
yeah.
with you both.
That's what we're doing here today.
That was so cool.
Aliza, that was insane. Thank you so much
Thank
for that.
you.
I
Thank
think we
you.
just solved it. Now I
think we
need to look
did.
into George Chapman, and I need to we got to make a real case.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
this,
we got to get on
including
the
this whole thing.
Australian Wire.
We got
so we got to get
and be like,
with
wait a
our
minute,
clickbait.
we figured it out.
Yeah,
Contact them over
Forget
there.
the shawl. Look at the
Forget
charts.
it. The show doesn't exist.
What
Don't
are you
think
talking
it.
about?
It's a table runner. I'm pretty sure. Stop.
That was so cool. Well,
Yeah.
weirdos, we have more stuff upcoming with Aliza. We're actually
Yes.
about to record something entirely different.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a little while before that comes out. So keep your eyes
Stay
peeled.
tuned.
So before we let you go, is there anything you want to plug?
I would love for you all to listen to my podcast.
It's iconic.
Yay!
Do
It's
it.
called
Your
Horoscope
podcast.
Weekly. Episodes come out every Monday and every Wednesday. Our Monday episodes are horoscopes for every single sign, and they also talk about the astrology weather of the week ahead, and there's a theme of the week that we work with. And then the Wednesday episodes are where we learn astrology. We talk about how astrology impacts our lives. We go into things like moon signs and the houses and Saturn, and you could do all of this. You can solve cases too.
Hell yeah.
That's the plug.
Do it.
Listen to Horoscope Weekly and, solve murders.
cases.
Yeah.
Period. Let's go.
Honeys, we leave you with that. So we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep it weird.
but not so weird that you're Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, not that weird.
Yeah.
Don't ever keep it that weird.
Don't be that weird.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well.
Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find a pro for your project at Angie.com.
Sometimes life will get you stressed out. Lucky you can always count on text now. Free talk, free text, free 5G, and they'll never shut you off. 'Cause like I said, it's free. Text Now's got your back. Nationwide, no long-term contracts. But don't be nervous about losing service. Text Now's got your back, that's their sense of purpose. No matter what comes next, you've got free talk and text with the Text Now app. Download it today.
Wireless plans require the purchase of a SIM card. Visit textnow.com for terms and conditions.